Hello, Internet, and are you ready to stroke my American football?
Yeah,
My
are you ready for some football?
Are you ready for some football? We stopped last season because we started at like week 3 of the normal season. We realized that was a bad idea,
that was
so
stupid.
we're starting again this year. We're coming up to the fourth week of preseason. Nobody gives a shit about preseason. That's why we've not been talking about it. But we thought with the fourth week coming up and the regular season on the way, we'd give our predictions about what we think each team is going to do in the regular season. And then as the weeks go on, we'll give our predictions for teams and games. And I'm actually going to get a notepad up right now so I can keep a note of my predictions of what I think each team's going to do this year.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. My name is Riddler, by the way, saying go Miami Dolphins.
This is right insane. This I'm feeling pretty down because I'm already predicting my Minnesota Vikings to have a fairly bad year.
I'm Hallie, and I realized that my state doesn't actually have a team.
Your state doesn't actually have a team, which is weird.
Oh, another thing we could talk about our fantasy teams if
Yes,
we want.
we could talk about our fantasy teams. Um, Okay, so the way this is going to go, we'll talk about each conference from both of the divisions from the AFC and the NFC, the North, South, East, and West, and we'll give our predictions on each team in those conferences. So we'll go North, South, East, West, I suppose. Yeah, we'll start with the North, and we'll start with the NFC North. And we'll start with your team. We'll start with your team, Rocktown, the Minnesota Vikings. And because they're your team, you can go first.
Well, they at least seem to have some improvements in the receiving side. We got Greg Jennings, which is our replacement for Percy Harvin. The one thing is that he's not like that explosive guy that can do anything like Percy Harvin could. Like he could Percy Harvin could like go deep. He could do run. He could run the ball. He can do short routes. Greg Jennings is like a possession receiver.
Why did you guys get rid of Percy Harvin again?
Because he's very prone to like basically injury plus migraines. He has a huge problem with migraine headaches.
Right.
In fact, Percy Harvin is already injured, and he's actually slated to be out for the season.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they gave and he's in Seattle now. They gave him like a 6-year, very lucrative contract.
That's probably yeah, it's probably they saw what he did in Minnesota and were like, we got to get this guy, and then they realized they probably got burned by it if the guy's injury prone.
I don't think that the thing is. I think the Vikings didn't know that. I mean, that was like when he signed with the Vikings. That was his debut. You know, those were his
Yeah.
debuts.
Yeah.
So that's forgivable. But Seattle doesn't has less of an excuse.
So you
I understand why they did it. It sounds like a smart idea because of how good he is. It's just the problem is he's injury prone and he has headache and he has problem headaches.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. Also, we got a really good we have an up and coming rookie that looks really good. Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, I heard about him. I think, well, is he going to get a lot of playing time, though?
I think he will. I think he's showing. I think he's definitely showing stuff in preseason
Is he the starter or is he second string?
I don't know.
You just know that people are kind of hyping him up right now. If they're hyping him up,
I think the team is pretty high on him right now.
he might be the starter then, I'm not sure. I don't follow the draft, and I don't follow who's going to be in what position. It's just like I'm just going to wait and see what the team is in the regular season and
I
see what
kind
we
of don't
follow.
know
I
what the.
actually,
I kind of don't know how well they're performing right now when it
Well,
comes to like team.
The Vikings. To be fair to be fair to Rockton and his favorite team, the Vikings, they surprised me last year. They really did. I didn't think the Vikings were going to do too well last year,
yeah,
and
I mean, they kind of surprised me too. I think here's there was two things that factored into how well they did that last year. One was the fact that Adrian Peterson had the fucking year of his career,
yes, he did.
and and that actually Kristen Potter started to play his best football later in the season.
Yeah, Christian Pond has been improving each year with the Vikings, which is good because people are kind of.
Unfortunately, from what I'm seeing in the preseason, it looks like he's regressing, if anything.
Well, it's preseason. You might not. I mean, it's. I mean, like nobody cares about. The only people that care about preseason are the coaches, so they can see like the talent they've acquired and how to work them in. And that it's really just the coaches and the management that care about preseason. The players don't give a shit. The fans don't give a shit. So what that could just be is
So,
maybe.
you also, I mean, sometimes from watching preseason, it can make you concerned. Like it gives you a chance to see, at least in the third game, what the offense is going to look like,
That's true.
what your team's going to look like, and from
Well,
what I've
there's
seen, the team doesn't look that good.
there's also you also have to take into account the fact that uh, the preseason, like Riddler said, it's for the coaches to specifically to work out the kinks that the new players
Yeah,
bring
like
in.
figure out new formations. If something isn't working
Exactly.
out, they can trade early. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Preseason is really the experimental process for the coaches. It's like let's see if this works. If it doesn't work, doesn't matter. It's preseason. Then
Yeah.
that's when they get all their stuff. That's what it's supposed to be. Not all coaches can do that with the teams. Not all teams can get their shit together after preseason. But the point of preseason is get your shit together so that you can do good in season. That's the idea.
It's not. It's also to like look at all the rookies. You all your new players.
Yeah, and to look at all your new players.
And to look at like your second and third stringer guys.
It's to see what you can do with this team that you've got. Exactly, it's to see how you can make it work. That's the point of preseason.
And speaking, and by the way, oh my God, there is a strange Arab man in our call, in our podcast.
Yeah, it's Faraday. You haven't missed much, Faraday. The first team we're talking about is the Vikings. So, what is the score that you have predicted for the Vikings this year, Rocktown? Because I'm looking at their schedule here. I think they could do pretty.
Another thing is like the defense is going to be a little bit better, hopefully, because one of the things is that we were struggling to generate a pass rush last year. We did have a lot of fumble. We did really good at fumbles, but pass rush we weren't doing too well. And part of the reason is because Jared Allen was actually the entire season was not healthy. He had like shoulder problems, so that's actually why he wasn't as effective as he has been in the past.
Right.
But there's still the problem. There's still the problem of the secondary. The biggest problem is still our secondary. I mean, like if we from last year, if we don't improve our secondary, it's going to be more of the same where we can, if we don't generate a pass rush, the secondary is not going to be able to stop anyone, practically anyone.
Well, do you have it?
But my prediction for this year, we had a record of 10-6 last year.
Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm.
I predict that to flip flop, basically, and actually I predicted it to be like one less.
I was gonna
we're
say
basically going to be going to be last place in our division, and the record's going to be 5-11.
Okay, what do you say? What were you going to say, Alan?
I said that I'm actually guessing about 8-8 or 9-7 because I think that, yeah, they're going to have a good start, but they also need both morale and for the secondaries to back them up. But I don't think they're going to cost them that many games, but I still think that they're going to be middle of the road. So they're either going to get .50 or .55.
It's too early to say, I suppose, if Ponder's improved or not. But
Apparently
we do have
they
Matt.
lost 3 of the
We do have
preseason
Matt.
games.
We do sign Matt Castle, and although he's better at throwing a deep ball, which Ponder has struggled mightily to do at all, the problem is that Matt Castle came from KC, where he was doing so badly that they cheered when he got injured.
Wow.
That's
they have
nice.
lost all of their preseason games. They lost to Houston, they lost to Buffalo, and they lost to San Francisco. They're up against Tennessee this week.
We haven't had exactly a very easy preseason schedule. We've had to go against 2 really good defenses.
Yeah, but you went up against Buffalo.
You could have took Buffalo.
You could have took Buffalo. I am looking at their schedule, and although preseason's looking a bit dim for them, they've got, if they can put their stuff together, they've got a pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but it's a decent schedule they've got here, okay? Their first 4 weeks, they're at Detroit, they can take on Detroit. They're at Chicago.
Anyone can take on Detroit.
No,
they can take on.
I don't think. Actually, Detroit has improved, so I don't know.
This is the team that last year, Detroit. This is the team that last year their veterans were coming out and saying this team sucks. Okay, they start at Detroit, at Chicago, home against Cleveland, home against Pittsburgh. I think their first 4 weeks they'll be 3-1. I think the only game they'll lose is against Pittsburgh. Then they've got a bye week at week 5. Then they're home against Carolina. They could win that. They're at the New York Giants. That depends on the New York Giants defense, and that all depends on the defense really for that game.
Then it's the grinder.
That's the grinder. Home against Green Bay. They're at Dallas. Tony Romo can't throw a ball to save his life. They're home against Washington. They're at
Washington. They'll probably lose that.
At Seattle. At Green Bay.
They'll lose that.
Seattle?
At Seattle.
Seattle's the scariest team. I honestly think is one of the scariest looking teams in football right now.
Yeah, they're at Seattle, at Green Bay, home against Chicago, at Baltimore, home against Philly, at Cincinnati, home against Detroit. So they've got an easy first 4 weeks. They've got a few decent weeks after the bye week, and then they've got Philly to worry about. They've got Baltimore to worry about. Washington, possibly Green Bay if they don't shoot themselves in the foot. But other than that, I see them beating pretty much everyone else.
Well, Cincinnati, that could be an iffy one.
Cincinnati?
Cincinnati is getting better.
The Bengals
are actually getting better.
But I'd still give it a 50-50.
I'd give a 50-50 to Cincinnati and NY Giants. It could go either way with Cincy and the Giants.
Yeah.
I'm going to say they'll either do the same as last year or a game or 2 better. I'm saying they may go. It could be anywhere between 10 to 12 for me.
Yeah.
That's me personally.
I actually have about the same prediction, but I just want to grab attention to a couple of things. First of all, injuries. This is all dependent on there being no new injuries or anything, which is kind of being optimistic, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also depends on their game in like the first 2 months. And the first 8 games or so on the first half. Because if they can pull it off, I'm guessing their morale will be good when like I said, the grinder comes up at about week 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they've got their shit together in the first half, they stand a better chance in the second half. They're gonna be confident. They're gonna be going in pretty pumped up. But if they don't, this is it could really be. It could be a flip-flop, like Rocktan said.
Yeah.
I honestly, here's the problem is, I know it's preseason, but the offense hasn't woken up till preseason game 3. and I just don't see. I'm not seeing the. I know it's preseason, but I'm not seeing the noticeable improvements from Ponder.
So long as they wake up before the actual games, it's fine.
If Ponder hasn't improved from last year, they're gonna have to ride Adrian Peterson all over again. And here's the thing: Adrian Peterson is good and is pretty much unstoppable when he wants to be. The problem is that he just came off this stellar year, and usually running backs coming off a year like that tend to have somewhat of a down year. I mean, he'll probably get like at least maybe 1,000, maybe 1,200 yards, but I just don't see him being able to replicate anywhere close to what he did last.
As long as Ponders can actually give him some leeway, can manage him some slack, I think Peters can do fine. But that all depends on Ponders.
Yeah, you said yours, didn't you? You said either 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah, about that. I think they're going to do really average.
Yeah, it could go. It depends on really whether Minnesota gets their shit together or not. We'll move on to the Green Bay Packers, who last year kind of dropped the ball. Their score from last year wouldn't say that they did, but because last year they got 11-5, but they didn't do that good last season. Wasn't it Aaron Rodgers? He got sacked 9 times or something in one game.
I don't recall.
I might get I might have been confused with a different team, but as far as I remember, it was Aaron Rodgers. He got sacked 6. Something.
There was a one. It ended up being I think a 1-game playoff between Green Bay and Vikings, which Green Bay won.
Yeah, it was between Green Bay and Vikings because neither team did so well in that season. I think the thing with the Green Bay Packers is I don't know what to expect from them ever. One year they're amazingly good, and then the next they can be amazingly terrible. They are not consistent, which is really weird. They win the Super Bowl, and then the season after they have 15 wins, and then they just completely blow it. I'm like, how do you do that? You almost had an undefeated season, and then you just completely blow it at the end. How do you do that? And they didn't go on to the playoffs. They lost in the playoffs. So, okay. And then this last year, they were back and forth, didn't really know what they were doing, got some lucky wins. Their defense was all over the place. I'm like, I don't know what to think of them this year. They've lost 2 of their preseason games. They lost at home against Arizona. They won at St. Louis. It's fucking St. Louis. And they've lost to Seattle at home.
Well, I'm gonna go that by law of averages, they're gonna do great this year.
They might. Their schedule, I don't know what to think of this schedule. I'll read it out to you guys, and once I finish, you tell me what you think of the schedule. So the first, they're at San Fran, home against Washington, at Cincinnati, then they've got a bye week at week 4, home against Detroit, at the Baltimore Ravens, home against Cleveland, at Minnesota, home against Chicago, home against Philly, at New York Giants, home against Minnesota, at Detroit, home against Atlanta, at Dallas, home against Pittsburgh, at Chicago.
I have to say, the beginning of their schedule looks brutal.
Yeah, other than Cincinnati, I don't think they're going to win in the
first 3 weeks. What are we talking
about? The Green Bay Packers. The first 4 weeks, they're at San Francisco, home against Washington, and at Cincinnati. Other than Cincinnati, I think they lose their first 2 games.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a really big hit in the beginning.
Then it kind of eases off Detroit, Cleveland, Chicago. I can see them winning against. Philly, maybe. New York, maybe.
This might be a year where the Green Bay Packers are playing good, but not good enough because the people they're against
are better.
Are better.
Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback, no doubt. He's got a decent wide receiver team. The defense last year couldn't get their shit together. Maybe they'll do that this year. I'm gonna say they do middle of the road here. I'm thinking either 8-8 or 9-7 for the Green Bay Packers. I really am.
Okay, question. Just a quick question. Seattle and Arizona, how good are their offenses?
Seattle?
Yeah.
Seattle's been doing really good, actually. Last year they had Beast Mode, and he was amazing. Can't remember. Oh, Marshawn Lynch, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch. They went from basically a team that everyone ridiculed to a team that were like, wow, we got to start paying attention to these guys. Basically because of Marshawn Lynch. Their running game is really good, really improved. I don't know about that.
And their defense is one of the scariest in the NFL.
Their defense is really good. I don't know about their passing game because I don't watch many of their games. I just know they've got a really good running game. Their defense is.
They have Russell Wilson, which I think is one of the better young quarterbacks out there.
I have heard good things about Russell Wilson, but I'm just saying because I haven't watched it, I can't judge myself. I don't follow Seattle that much. I can tell you they've got a really good running game and a good defense, and that's about it. But Green Bay is Green Bay good at stopping the run?
That's why I'm asking, because
I think they're fairly good. They're not too bad at stop. I mean, Peterson kind of ran over him at the but at the same time he the playoff game he struggled.
He did.
Because they were like, but that you could say that part of the reason was because we didn't have Ponder to lessen the load for Peterson. We had fucking Joe Webb.
I don't know. I mean, they lost against.
By the way, Joe Webb's now a wide receiver.
I know they lost against Seattle in preseason. They don't face Seattle in the regular season, Green Bay. They only faced them in the preseason, and Seattle won that game. They're going to win against Cincy, I think. They'll win against Detroit. They'll win against Cleveland. They'll win against Chicago. Philly, I'll give them that. I will give them that, though that could go either way. The Giants, that could go either way. I don't know where. Atlanta, I'll give them that. Pittsburgh, that could go either way. Chicago, I'll give them that.
You'd give them Atlanta?
I'll give them Atlanta. I think they could pull that off.
Dude, Atlanta's really good. I don't know about that one.
I stick with middle of the road though, either 8-8 or 9-7 for me.
I think. Can I go next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think they're gonna have a better season this year. I don't know what the record was at the end, but I think
the record last year was 11-5.
Well, maybe I think they could either do about the same or maybe one game less. I predict either like an 11-5 or 10-6. I think the biggest the biggest thing right now is that their running game was terrible, but they seem to have actually drafted a really good running back, and we'll see how he does.
Yeah.
I think it's Eddie Lacy. This is who they got. Is the guy?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Eddie Lacy didn't.
Just last year, I mean, ever since 4 years ago, their running game production has steadily declined to the point that just last year, their rushing total was 434 yards total team wise. Yeah. That's really bad.
That's not good. I don't
But
know.
then again,
what was your score again?
Packers are one of those pass first teams.
Yeah, Packers are a pass first team. You said either 11 or 10, didn't you, Rocktown?
Yeah, I'd say they either replicate this year's season or they go one game less than it.
What about you, Ali? if you're there. Ali?
Well,
I'm here.
Oh, he's there.
Okay.
I was muted. I was gonna
oh,
say
you-
nothing really changed paradigm-wise, so it's roughly the same team as before. But I think they're going to do probably slightly worse. So I'm gonna say 10-6, definitely.
6 for you. Fair enough. Vardy.
I'm gonna say they're definitely gonna do worse, but how much worse? I couldn't really tell you, because if nothing changed from last year, well, you can bet that every other team is gonna go, okay, how do we beat the Packers?
Yeah, that's the thing. They've not changed, and every other team pretty much has.
Yeah, and everybody's gonna go. Everybody's gonna have a plan on how to beat the Packers, and this is gonna be a rough year for them.
It
So
really is. It really is.
I'm gonna go 8-8.
8-8.
I'm gonna yeah.
I can see that. Either 8-8 or 9. I'm gonna go with 9 though. I'll stick with 9. But I can definitely see if they go in at 8-8. Then we'll go into this team that I don't know what the hell they're going to do. Detroit Lions, and I'll tell you the reasons why. 1, I don't follow the Detroit Lions. I know nothing about this team. Number 2, their preseason record so far. Okay, they're 2-1, and I will give you the results of each game. And this just blows me away that they've managed to do this. They won week 1 of preseason against the Jets, 26-17. Then they lost.
What the fuck?
Then hold on. Then they lost the following week to Cleveland, 6-24.
Jesus!
Then the following week against the New England Patriots,
They crushed them.
They beat the Patriots 40-9.
So, what was their score last year?
Their score last year, the Detroit Lions. Let me find that. Lions. Where are they? Last year, their score was 4-12.
Honestly,
well, the 40-9 game, I actually saw some highlights, and like what the Patriots during that game were just fumbling the ball all over the place.
I just don't get that. How do you have that back and forth, though? I don't get that, though. I mean...
Well, remember, this is the preseason. Maybe they were trying something else with the Cleveland Browns, and it backfired amazingly well, or badly.
It could have been something else. I don't watch preseason, but they beat the Jets 26-7, and then they lose 6-24 against Cleveland? What? And then they beat Patriots 40-9. Excuse me, is this what? Is this the same?
It's one of two things. Either the Patriots were doing something extremely original and it fucked up, or the Lions did something completely original and it worked.
I was going to say that
Go ahead.
They're vastly inconsistent, but I kind of expect this year they do slightly better than last year. So I'm probably going to say 6-10, maybe 7-9.
That's fair. I think they'll do better.
Especially thinking if you look at the Patriots stats, they only lost to Detroit.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I think they're going to be inconsistent, but somehow do slightly better.
I think they'll do better, but they haven't got an easy schedule for Detroit, right? They're home against Minnesota. They're at Arizona. They're at Washington. They're home against Chicago. They're at Green Bay. They're at Cleveland. That's okay. Home against Cincy. Home against Dallas. Then they've got a bye week at week 9. They've got a late bye week. Then they're at Chicago. At Pittsburgh. Home against Tampa Bay. Home against Green Bay. At Philly. Home against Baltimore. Home against the New York Giants. At Minnesota. They've not got an easy schedule.
No.
There's a few easy teams in there, but it ain't easy for the Detroit Lions. This isn't easy.
Well, I think I want to go first because I just want to say, if they can figure out what they did against the Patriots and basically just do that in every single game.
Well, no, it wasn't what they did against the Patriots. It's what the Patriots did for them. Okay, I'll drop the ball.
Maybe.
I'll drop the ball. Unless every other team's like, here you go, I don't think they're gonna get.
If there was something there,
well,
and they figured something out.
Also, I'm thinking that the fact they beat the Patriots is kind of a morale boost, so I do think that's also going to.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
they're
the-
like fucking John Holmes right now with their like big egos and like, oh yeah, we beat the Patriots.
I think the Lions secretly dunked the entire Patriots team's gloves in butter.
Butter
Uh,
kept the world.
well. Does anybody know if there are any any notable
Do I fuck?
additions to the team?
Do I fuck? I don't follow Detroit. Detroit has always been just this hopeless case. They've been cursed for life, honestly. Like, there's even that theory that the team was cursed because of a certain player that they traded away or got rid of or something, and this curse was going to last for like 30, 40 years or something like that. And the day the curse was supposed to end, they got completely blown out. And it's like, well, you're still cursed, Detroit. And
I was just gonna say, cat curse.
the cat curse, yeah. Every cat
Every cat team does really badly.
Every cat team, even against teams that you think they should beat, just somehow shits the bed.
You mean like how would the Cleveland Browns?
But exactly, they shit the bed against the Browns, a team that's never been good, has never won a Super Bowl, ever. And this
It looks like they never will.
I mean, this was a team that back before the Super Bowl was the ideal football team, but then the Super Bowl came along and it's just like, herpader, we forgot how to play.
I was gonna say that the Cleveland Browns are like the special kid in high school, but
They really are. They're worse than the Bills. Oh, God, they're terrible.
I don't see them having signed anybody on that's any good.
That's the
but
thing. The Detroit Lions, to me, are just a bunch of no-names of people I don't care about.
So yeah, I don't think they're gonna be doing anything, even unless they somehow manage to pull off a miracle and can pull it off in every single game. Nothing. This is not gonna be a good schedule for them.
This is not. I think you gave him 6.
I was thinking 4 actually.
You're saying they do the same as last year? They go with 4?
Yeah.
I want to say they do better because I feel so sorry for Detroit. Detroit is such a shitty city, and people have the highest hopes in that city. Like, we can do it. We can fix ourselves. We can make ourselves better.
Well, maybe that's what happened. Maybe it's because there's nobody else left in the city. These people have got so much free time. They did nothing.
It goes
this entire
through so
year,
much.
but
It's a city that is always going through some kind of shit, and
well, now it's
Yeah.
fucking bankrupt. So
everyone goes through the highest hopes, still, with all the trouble that goes on in Detroit. And I'm just like, give them something to hope for. Pull off a New Orleans Saints where a tragedy causes you to win the Super Bowl. Do something. It's like, no, even their team, no, we can't. I'm sorry. Detroit is cursed. We can't. We cannot win. We can't get to a Super Bowl. We're sorry. Even when you had Barry Sanders, you couldn't win a Super Bowl. This team's going nowhere.
here's the thing. If there's any team I'd like to be proven wrong on, it's the Lions.
I really would like to be proven wrong on the Lions. I'm gonna give them 5. They do one better. They do one better this year.
I'm gonna keep my expectations low so that if they do get 5, that's a good day.
I'm thinking that
I
they will win 4, but I'm just saying that there's going to be 1 or 2 what the fuck wins.
They really will, yeah. I can totally see that. And there'll be what the fuck losses as well. Well, like, you think you should have won that, and they don't. Rockturn, what do you think? What's your score for Detroit?
I think they're gonna be like slightly better than the Vikings, but yeah, I don't expect them to do that well.
Damn. That's some low expectations right there.
Expectations.
A little better, definitely better than the Vikings, but I mean Stafford is a little underrated, and they have one of the best receivers in football, Calvin Johnson, who just came off a stellar year. But the problem is they have this what looks to be a solid defense, but yet can't stop anybody. And they have this one guy that could stop people, but instead decides to just just do stupid shit. That being Ndamukong Suh.
This is something. It's like if you see the side, their overall offense is supposedly the third best so far.
I want to know where they're getting those stats from.
Because they made 300 yards passing already.
Internet.com.
No, I think that's the preseason stuff.
Well, to be fair, they're a passing team. I mean, that wide.
They have no runner. They have no.
They are a passing team. It's why that.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any running back apart from Michael LaShore.
I was gonna say they decided to rename the running back position
Michael
Distraction.
LaShore is like pretty mediocre.
I mean, Viredate. Last year they did 4-12, but their wide receiver Calvin Johnson still managed to defeat the old record. So, I mean, just because they've got a good passing doesn't mean they're gonna win.
Yeah, but here's the thing: these 300 yards are from these 2 preseason games, so these 300 yards are what beat the.
It doesn't mean anything then.
But anyway, I haven't even given my record prediction, which I put them at 7-9.
Okay.
I was gonna say that they have a good passing game, but they have a bad everything else.
They really do. They really do.
Yeah.
We'll now move on to another team that I have no idea what they're going to do, because this is a team that should lose, and should lose a lot. But for some reason, to quote a very famous rant, the Bears are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. The Bears, how did they keep... How? Every year you think the Bears just suck. There's no way they're winning a decent record. And yet, every time someone steps into Soldier Field, for Purdue, we forget how to play football.
Well, I'll tell you how. They stole the Lions' luck.
I mean, I'll admit, right now, they're not doing so well when it comes to, well, their offense sucks. I mean, their offense is ranked 28th in the league.
Their defense is okay.
Their defense...
They have solid defense, but they can't move the ball.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, the Bears shouldn't win a lot of games, but they do. Because people just let them get off the hook, let them steal the ball.
They underestimate them so much.
They underestimate the Bears so much that the Bears just come out on top.
I'm pretty sure that there is some sort of magical juju hidden under Soldier Field that steals everybody's luck.
For me, the winner of the North is either going to be the Vikings or the Packers. For me.
I'm going like 60-40 on Packers.
I'm thinking it will be the Vikings this year. I think the Vikings will get their shit together.
The Vikings certainly have the best chance of making it.
They do.
If they pass the conditions, they've got a pretty good shot at this.
The Bears has been one where I've been thinking about this score for so long, because I had to take into the account that, well, that's a game they could lose, but what if that team just completely shits the bed? Because that's a possibility with the Chicago Bears. But you have to take into consideration that team could shit the bed against Chicago.
Mm.
They're home against Cincy, they're home against Minnesota, they're at Pittsburgh, at Detroit, home against New Orleans, home against the Giants, at Washington, then they have a bye week at week 8, at Green Bay, home against Detroit, home against Baltimore, at St. Louis, at Minnesota, home against Dallas, at Cleveland, at Philly, home against Green Bay.
Their schedule looks really good, actually.
They've got a good schedule.
They have a really favorable schedule from what I'm seeing.
I don't know what to... I'll give them 8-8. I'll give them 8-8. That's what I will give the Bears, because I really don't know what to think of this team. I will give them 8-8.
I was thinking that they'd get a nice amount of wins, but still nothing to like really be surprised about. So I probably was gonna say either 7-9 or 8-8. This is nothing to write home about. They're just kind of They just don't have enough pushing power when it comes to like offense.
Well, this is the Chicago Bears, so they're gonna be infuriating in some sort of way.
Oh yeah.
So that means they're gonna get 10 wins. It's not enough to actually do anything, probably. They're not gonna win it, but it's gonna be infuriating because there's probably gonna be 1 or 2 people under them that they shouldn't be under them. So it's 10. It's 10. It's 10-7. It's 10.
6.
10-6.
Rocktail,
I forgot how to do math.
what do you think of the Bears?
This is gonna sound probably crazy, but here's the thing. Chicago Bears have actually now put people in front of, from what I'm hearing, have actually put in front of Jay Cutler a decent offensive line, so he won't get beat the shit out. So he won't get the shit beat out of him.
If that's
Their
true,
offense-
they might go like 11-5 at best.
No, their offense. This is ranked in the preseason. Their offense is ranked 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah. About that.
Well, that is the preseason. I'm gonna go weird, probably weird, just because I think Cutler is probably a little more underrated, just because he gets hammered so often with a good offense.
I bet he's like
with a good offensive line to back him. Their defense might be a little bit down from last year. I mean, like they don't have Urlacher anymore because he's retired. But I think their defense is still solid, considering their schedule and considering that. This is gonna sound weird, but I honestly think they could actually get first place in the division and get a 12-4 record.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I said, at best, I'd go 10-6 personally.
Yeah.
That's like best possible scenario to me.
I can see the best possible scenario being that they get the wild card, but they get knocked out in the playoffs. That's the best possible situation for the Bears. What was you so 12? Okay, you have you have them clinching it.
I really only see them lose from considering their schedule. I'm only seeing them lose. I'm only seeing them losing I'm only seeing them the losses to the Saints, the Giants, Washington, and Baltimore. That's it.
Like I said, as long as
I don't see them losing to anyone else.
I see them losing to the Vikings at least once.
At least
I was going to say, as long as they can at least pull out an average offense, they can do pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll be able to do that, personally. We'll move on to the NFC, not to the NFC, to the AFC North, excuse me. To the AFC North. I don't know what I was smoking there. We'll start off with the previous year's Super Bowl winners, Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore has a good schedule here, guys. They're at Denver, home against Cleveland, home against Houston, at Buffalo, at Miami, home against Green Bay, at Pittsburgh, bye week at week 8, at Cleveland, home against Cincinnati, at Chicago, home against the Jets, at Pittsburgh, home against Pittsburgh, home against Minnesota, at Detroit, home against New England, at Cincinnati. I think they could.
It's looking like it's 2 good games for them. Then it's a tough one. Then 2 good games. Then it's a tough one. It's looking kind of like that. At least something similar. They got Denver and Cleveland. Then they got Houston to deal with. Then Buffalo, Buffalo and Miami. Then there's Green Bay. Maybe even Pittsburgh. Then they've got a bye. Then they've got the Browns, and then they've got the Bengals.
Then they're at the Bears. Then it's the Jets, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Detroit, New England, Cincinnati. I think they could make it to the playoffs again this year. I really do.
The thing with the Ravens is they're pretty solid on all directions. They're jacks of all trades, as I would like to say.
They are. They have that amazing defense. They've finally gotten some kind of offense that can be balanced with their defense.
Yeah.
I think they'll make it. I don't know about Super Bowl. It's too early to talk about Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I see them possibly making it to the playoffs this year. I'm giving them 12 wins this year.
I can see that.
I'm giving them 12. That's me personally. What about you, Rockton?
Here's the thing about the Ravens. They got stripped of so much of their team. It looks like not even the same team anymore. It really doesn't. I mean, Ed Reed is gone. I'm not sure if he retired, but then there's Ray Lewis retired.
That's true.
Anquan Boldham, he's on the 49ers, and he was like one of the big keys to their Super Bowl their Super Bowl run with a lot of the great catches he made. This team is so stripped of the stuff of what they had. I just don't. How the hell does Flacco have anything left to work with, or the team in general?
Well, here's the thing. Just as a note, I wanted to draw attention to the what the fuck of the preseason. They lost to the Panthers, yet still managed to win against the Buccaneers and the Falcons against Atlanta.
They lost to the Panthers?
They lost to the Panthers.
It's always what the fuck games and.
Yeah, a preseason always it's nothing but a what the fuck season.
Preseason is the what the fuck, like for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then just suddenly teams will suddenly change within a week.
Next game is the Rams. How much you want to bet they're gonna lose against them?
Wouldn't surprise me with it being preseason. Really wouldn't. And then for some reason in like regular season they're just suddenly like going.
The one thing about the final game of the season, and this kind of goes for all teams, is that none of the starters play in the
none
final.
Of the starters play.
Yeah.
But preseason week 4 is the worst week of preseason.
Yeah, by far.
By far the worst, because none of the starters. That's like when you see the 3rd and 4th stringers coming out onto the team, like, oh, we could get a first string job, guys. Yeah, okay, maybe not.
Maybe we'll at least become the backups. Yay!
We might become second stringers at least. That's a possibility.
Have hope.
Have hope. I mean, if all the
maybe
first, think about it.
Maybe
guys.
I can move from fourth.
Maybe if the second stringer bus just took a dive off the cliff, maybe then we can make it.
It's like if all the first stringers and second stringers plane crashed on the way to the stadium, then maybe.
Maybe I, as a 4th stringer, can move up to 3rd stringer. Yay!
And maybe be a replacement if one of the guys.
Can you imagine? Like, I know there's some teams that have like 5th and 6th stringers. Can you imagine those guys just sitting on the bench like, man, I don't even get fucking TV time on preseason.
I was gonna say, just like, that's the guy who goes and gets some chips or something.
Yeah, he's the guy that carries their bags. At least
he's the water boy, and suddenly he tackles someone. Let's put him in.
Let's put him in. Yeah, preseason.
Okay. Okay. That's
the Adam Sandler movie.
Preseason week.
I gotta go up on a tangent. It's not a non sequitur here, but Iron Sheik says Taylor Swift and Sirius, same thing. I lost it. I can't do the accent anymore.
Taylor Swift. No.
Has everyone given their predictions then for the?
Yeah.
I haven't given mine for the Ravens. I will say, even though they're stripped, their schedule looks really good. I see the schedule. I see an 11-5. I'm gonna give them an 11-5.
I was thinking that they were going to do very well, but not exactly the best. So I was gonna say either 12-4 or 11-5. Just like they're going to do very well, but I don't think they're going to be the top team.
Right.
I'm not gonna disagree with that. 11-5, 11-5 or 12-4.
So we're all agreeing around that region, 11 or 12. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We'll move on then to the other possible powerhouse of the South. Though looking at their preseason, you wouldn't think it, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have lost every game of preseason so far. Although, to be fair, their third one, it was lost in overtime, but it was against Kansas City.
Yeah. You really shouldn't be going overtime on preseason.
You really shouldn't need to go to overtime on preseason. Exactly, yeah. Steelers... Big Ben rapes a lot. You know, maybe what they'll do to figure out a winning strategy is they'll put, like, a bathroom at the opponent's end of the goal line and have, like, a college girl go in it. He can run towards it with a football, you know, and then after
He'd be unstoppable.
After he slams the touchdown, he goes into the bathroom and he disappears for, like, 10 minutes.
Make it 5.
Make it 5.
I feel horrible.
They call it the Rossburger bathroom.
They'll call it the Roethlisberger strategy. Have a bathroom on the opponent's end of the field. Brr. Put a college girl in there. Brr.
Yeah, we're all going to hell.
We're all going to hell, but I hate that man with passion. He should not be a quarterback.
No.
He should not be in football. I'm so glad that the Packers beat him in that Super Bowl. So glad. Because that game, that if he'd have won that Super Bowl, they'd have used that as, like, his redemption. It's like, oh, all the bad news. He managed to win a Super Bowl, and therefore he's a good person. No, thank fuck he lost.
It's not like Ray Lewis, he was...
he murdered someone.
But at least he seems to have turned his life around.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You can murder somebody accidentally. I don't think you can rape somebody accidentally.
No, that's not an accidental thing.
No.
Oh. I don't know what to think of their schedule. It's kind of a schedule. It's easy, to be honest with you. They're home against Tennessee, at Cincinnati, home against Chicago, at Minnesota. They got a bye week 5. They're at the New York Jets, home against Baltimore, at Oakland, at New England, home against Buffalo, home against Detroit, at Cleveland, at Baltimore, home against Miami, home against Cincy, at Green Bay, home against Cleveland. It's like they want Roethlisberger to go to the Super Bowl. We'll give him the easiest friggin' schedule, but we'll throw in a few hard teams in there to make it look like we randomized it. But here you go. Face Buffalo. Face Detroit. Face Oakland. Here's Cleveland. Take them all. Take all the bad teams. Here you go.
I'd like to think this is just some sort of karmic revenge in setup. Is that they're gonna lose to all the shitty teams?
I would laugh my ass off. I would laugh for days if that happened.
I'm back now.
I would literally laugh for days if that happened. Steelers, I don't know what they're gonna do this season. They got Big Ben, rapes a lot.
They've got they've got great defense.
Got a good defense. God damn it! I don't think they're gonna win the conference. They might be a wild card. I'll put them in at 10. 10 wins. That's me. What about you, Vardy?
I'm gonna put them in at least 9 wins, but I'm gonna flip it for what I want to happen. I want 5 wins.
Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like them to go winless, but I know that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. You know the Cleveland Browns are gonna shit the bed at the very least.
Oh yeah, the Cleveland Browns are gonna shit the bed. If the only way the Cleveland Browns could win is if the Pittsburgh Steelers team just gets lost on the way, and they're like, well, all we got is the 3rd and 4th stringers. Go out and win it for us, guys.
Yeah. Here's the thing: if ever I will root for the Cleveland Browns, it's when they face the Steelers.
Oh yeah. without a doubt, the only time I root for the Browns is when they're against the Steelers. When they're against a team I venomously hate, I'll root for the Browns any day of the week if it's against the Steelers. Without a doubt. Washington Redskins as well, I'll root for Cleveland Browns. Because they're organized, like, not the players, the team's fine, but their owner's a fucking greedy douchebag.
Well, they do live in Washington.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I got them at 10 wins. You got them at 9, did you say, Vardy?
Yeah.
What about you, Rockdan?
I'm actually going to give them 9 wins. I'm gonna give them. I just don't see enough from this team that say that even given their schedule that they'll do well. I just don't. I'm not seeing it personally, so I'm gonna give them 9 and 7.
9 and 7 for you. What about you, Ellie?
2. No.
I'd like that.
I'd love that. I would wish you well winning that.
I was going to say that I think they're going to have a slightly worse season than usual, so I'm going to say either 8-8 or 9-7.
Fair enough. We move on then to the Cincinnati Bungles. Or the Bengals. It's another cat team, and...
Technically. I mean, we've seen them skirt and avoid the curse by a loophole.
A loophole because they didn't make their logo a cat. They just made it with a cat pattern. That it's anything with a cat as a logo. That's when they're screwed. But Bengals do get affected by the cat curse sometimes, not all the time because they found a loophole. Bengals, they're kind of a hit and miss team. Like, they'll go on like this awful losing streak, and then out of nowhere, they'll win against a team that they have no right against winning against.
You mean like Atlanta?
Like Atlanta, yeah, they could like lose like 5 weeks in a row, go to like at Atlanta and win.
And then beat them by 34-10?
Yeah, and what was that about? Preseason, they beat Atlanta 34-10. Won against Tennessee 27-19, and then they lost to Dallas. It's like, you beat Atlanta in Tennessee and then you lose to Dallas? What? Okay.
Maybe they were thinking we don't even need to try for Dallas.
I think if the Bengals are lucky, they might get 9 wins.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
9 wins is what I'm giving the Bengals. And that's if they're lucky. I can see them going anywhere from 6 to 9, but I'll give them the highest and go with 9. That's me. You agree with 9?
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go with 8-8.
8 and 8 for you. Rockton, what do you think about the Bengals?
Yeah, you know what? I think I agree. I think I'm gonna agree with that. I'm gonna go with 8 and 8.
8 and 8 for you. And Ali?
I'm going to be Mr. Negative Pants over here and be 7-9. I'm sorry, but you can't escape the cats.
And then we go to, oh dear God,
our favorite team,
the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't matter about the
team. The only good thing that this team can say is they're not the Jaguars and they're not the Jets.
They're not the Jags and they're not the Jets. And I'm sorry, this schedule, Browns are fucked this year. Okay, they're home against Miami, at Baltimore, at Minnesota, home against Cincy, home against Buffalo, home against Detroit, at Green Bay, at KC, home against home against Baltimore, sorry.
Ravens.
Bye week, at Cincy, home against Pittsburgh, home against Jacksonville, at New England, home against Chicago, at New York Jets, at Pittsburgh.
No.
Gonna do well. The Browns haven't been good in so long.
And here's the thing, you look at the stats for the preseason, it's pretty clear that these guys didn't win because they were good. They won because the other team was falling asleep.
They won because the other team fell asleep. Exactly.
They got seriously some of the shittiest defense in office on the game.
This team needs to be relocated. I'm sorry, Cleveland fans, you are some of the most rabid fans of football. I will give you that. But this team needs to be relocated. It either needs to be relocated.
Does Cleveland even get a decent showing at their games? I want to know. I'm
Well-
curious.
Well, just remember the last time that they tried to get rid of the Browns. Cleveland fans went rabid. They're like, we're going to move the Cleveland Browns to Where did they move the Cleveland Browns to? The original. They became the Baltimore Ravens. That was it.
The Ravens, yeah.
They became the Ravens, and Cleveland was like, no, we still want the blah, blah, blah. They're going nuts. And like, okay, well, you can't name it the Cleveland Browns still have to stay. And they brought back the Browns, and Cleveland and Baltimore had the Ravens. So I'm like, do you really want the Cleveland Browns? I mean...
We need a team to laugh at.
We need a team. I mean, I get your state, like, your city wants a team, but Cleveland, you're in Ohio. You have the Bengals. Your state already has a football team.
By the way, I'd be really depressed if I was in Ohio and I was a sports fan.
You got the choice of the Bengals and the Browns to root for. It's not exactly, goal. It's not like, ooh, do I root for the Giants or the Jets? It's like, oh, it's the Browns or the Bengals.
It's Matt or oh god.
It's
the Browns or the bungholes.
It seems like in general in Cleveland they don't have any team they can think of off the top of my head that wins championships.
Any sport.
I'm not sure if they didn't just merge the Browns with the Bengals. At least they'd have a better budget. Maybe they'd be able to. Yeah, and then they'd be able to get some decent players, maybe.
This team sucks.
I mean, having those two teams, both, is not a good idea. I'm gonna say this. Either put them both together, merge them together, make them into one large brown mess, or.
I mean, the thing is, though, how do you, if you're the owner, if you're the GM or the coach, how do you fix this team?
Like I said, either cut one team or put them together, and so you have enough funds, because you have the funds of two teams right now, and you can get better players, and that's it. At the very least, that's the least you can do.
Cleveland. I'm giving Cleveland 4 wins. And that's being generous.
They actually had 5 last season.
I'm giving them 4. I say they do worse.
Yeah.
I really do. What about you, Ali?
3.
You undercutting bitch.
Like, fuck up.
Oh, you think that's undercutting? I'm going 2.
What Rock can be like? 1.
Yeah.
Rock turn, what do you think?
Honestly, I'm only really seeing 2 of these 2 wins for them, but I think they're probably going to catch at least one other team napping. So I'm going to my prediction is pretty much the same as Ali, 3 wins.
3 wins.
I think they're gonna kind of win 2, and then what the fuck win a 3rd one.
Yeah.
Okay, we move on to the South. We'll start off with the AFC this time, AFC South, and we'll start off with the Houston Texans.
They're still pretty fucking good.
They're still pretty good.
The only loss they had was against the Saints in the preseason. They're the only team so far that's predictable in the preseason.
The thing is, as good as they kind of have this slump every year, like the second half of the season, they just can't seem to get it done. I don't know what it is. Just at the second half of the season, they drop the ball every time, and they're like, oh, well. We got it, Nate. We're happy.
Well, when you tell me that, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's probably the bye. The bye might be kind of like putting them off their game, you know?
To me, that's what they're like personally, because there's moments when they're really good, and then there's moments just like, yeah, we don't want to play football this week. We're good.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm going to say this is going to have some very special circumstances behind it, but I think they're going to go 12-4 or 11-5, but they're going to lose all 5 of their last games.
I can see that in a way. I'm losing all like 5 of the last game. I'm gonna go with 9. Personally, 9 wins.
I'm going
9
11.
and, 9 and 7 for me for the Texans. Ali's got 11. What about you, Rocktan? What do you think of the Texans?
I'm looking at their schedule here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. I think I do honestly think they're probably going to be the best team in their division. I'm actually gonna give them an 11-5 record. Honestly,
You think the Texans are the best in their division?
yeah, in their division, definitely.
I think they're going to get their shit together a little bit, but they're still going to fall off at the end.
I don't know about best in the, I don't know.
In their particular division, consider the other teams in it: the Colts, the Jags, and the Titans.
Yeah, you got the fucking Jags on to
The
compete
Colts, to be fair to them, have improved.
Yeah, they have.
The Colts,
They've gotten a better offense, it seems.
I mean, they lost Peyton, that fucked them up, but they got Andrew Luck, and he's done wonders for them.
Luck is pretty good.
Luck is pretty damn good, quarterback. It took a while for them to get back on track, but they've done it. They're still not as good as they were when they had Peyton, but it's fucking Peyton Manning. Come on.
They got Chuck Pagano on as a coach.
And they got Chuck Pagano on as a coach, who doesn't really know jack shit. They're getting there. They're not as good as they were. Definitely not as good as they were. I think it could be a battle between the Texans and the Colts, personally. I really do think it could be a battle between the Texans and the Colts. I do. I gave the Texans 9. Ali gave them... What did you give them again, Ali?
Yeah, I do think that the Colts have the other best chance in the division.
What did you give the Texans again, Ali?
I said 11-5.
11-5.
And I said, a special circumstance, they're going to lose at least 4 of their last games.
Yeah. What do you think, Friday?
I'm thinking 10.
You're thinking 10.
Because the schedule is, it's not easy, but it's not really that difficult.
It's middle of the road.
Yeah, it's middle of the road. So, but I'm not exactly sure that they're gonna be able to hold it up that well.
I think at some point they are just gonna slip.
Yeah, and if they slip, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be downhill. So it depends. If they can manage on the first half to stay strong and maybe at the very most lose one game, they're gonna come out with 10 wins easy.
Yeah. We'll move on to the Indianapolis Colts. Like I said, they have improved. Their defense needs a lot of work, though. Their offense has improved.
Yeah, their defense is bad.
Their defense.
They don't have one.
They pretty much don't have one.
They haven't had one since Peyton was around. They were kind of really they kind of relied on their offense.
They did. They relied on Peyton, which
they relied on scoring so many points that they could give away points and still win.
And that worked with Peyton too. But when Peyton, the stuff that happened with him when he got injured and when they traded him away, that plan no longer worked. Essentially, their weakness showed.
I think that actually they might do better this season,
They'll do
if only
better.
because Luck is actually, as far as I know, he's he's in good condition, isn't he?
Look, as far as I know, is in good condition. I've not heard anything about him being injured. If he gets injured, they're done.
Yeah. If he gets injured, they're done. But as long as he's okay, I'm expecting to do better than when they had Peyton, because Peyton, with his injury, psychologically alone, that could have affected them.
Well, last year with Andrew Luck, they got 11-5.
Yeah.
I actually think they are going. I'm going to give them 12, and I think
I'm gonna at least 11 for me.
I'm going to give them 12, and I think they win the division. And Texans get. It's going to be a battle between them and the Texans.
Yeah.
I think Texans let it slip. Indianapolis comes on top, and Texans get the wild card. That's what I think.
Ironically, appropriately enough, fittingly enough, they're going against the Texans in like the 14th game.
Yeah, they are.
So it's gonna be a showdown in all senses of the word.
That's me. I say 12-4. You say 11. Varday. What about you, Ellie? What do you think of the Colts?
What are we talking about? Oh, Colts.
The Colts.
How were they last year?
They got 11-5 last year.
I think they're going to get
get.
either exactly the same as that or slightly more.
I was going to say, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say I can read off their schedule if you want. Maybe that will help you.
It might be better for the listeners too.
Okay, their schedule. They're home against Oakland, home against Miami, at San Francisco, at Jacksonville, home against Seattle, at San Diego, home against Denver. They have a bye week at week 8. Then they're at Houston, home against St. Louis, at Tennessee, at Arizona, home against Tennessee, at Cincinnati, home against Houston, at Kansas City, home against Jacksonville.
They've got a. There's a lot of really easy pickings, and there's a lot of big challenges here in this schedule.
There is. I'm sticking with my decision.
Yeah. With the it's just I'm thinking this is gonna be the proving ground for Andrew Luck if they manage to get out with more than 11 wins. And I'm guessing Andrew Luck is gonna be the guy they point to and say he's why.
Yeah, they'll probably point to and say it's him. He's our new MVP. What do you think, Rocktan?
I'm gonna give them a 10-6, and the thing is, like, Andrew Luck is good, but I'm not really sure who they built in their receiving core for him. I'm not real sure if they really have anything major league. So
I don't know. I don't follow the Colts that much.
But I definitely think they could win 10. I see 5 of those games being probably losses for them, and maybe a potential 6 that they just kind of that's one of those teams to get lucky. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing is a 10-6.
Fair enough. We'll move on then to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh God.
Worst team.
Well, the worst team in this division, without a doubt. They've lost all 3 of their preseason games so far. They lost to Miami 3-27. They lost to the Jets 13-37, and then they lost to Philly 24-31. Their schedule, for anyone interested, they're home against KC, at Oakland, at Seattle, home against Indy, at St. Louis, at Denver, home against San Diego, home against San Fran, or bye week at week 9, so they've got a lot of matches before their bye week before they can relax, at Tennessee, home against Arizona, at Houston, at Cleveland, home against Houston, home against Buffalo, home against Tennessee, at Indianapolis.
You know what? I think the Jaguars are gonna pull off something very incredible here. I think they're gonna manage to get 0 wins.
You think they're gonna go winless?
Well, at the very most, they're gonna get the Browns. That's the only one I'm willing to give them.
I can see them winning against Buffalo too, dude. Cleveland and Buffalo, and maybe St. Louis.
No, no, no. Not even the Bills.
Not even the Bill. Wow.
Wow.
You don't have much faith in it. You're giving them one win.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm giving them the Browns I'm giving the Browns at the very least just in case.
Just in case. I see them winning against the Browns. I see them winning against Buffalo. Maybe against St. Louis. And
That's an iffy maybe.
and
Yeah.
maybe, and I can't believe I'm actually saying maybe for this team, but I mean, because they're a bad team themselves, maybe against Oakland.
Uh,
I give them 4 wins because it's those 4 teams that I've just said. But I can totally see them losing against Oakland. I can totally see them losing against St. Louis. I can see them losing against Buffalo, but not the Browns. So I say worst case scenario, they go 1-15. Best case scenario is 4 wins, so I'll give them 4 wins. They do the worst in the division.
yeah, and I could see that easily.
What about you, Roxanne?
2-14. I just don't see any. Only see him 2 wins out of the schedule.
We're just shitting all over this team.
It's. I mean, they have 2 of these 2 quarterbacks that were just like flat out bad. I mean, Chad Henne and Blaine Gabbert.
Oh God, Chad Henne.
And by the way, they actually have a ton of cap space. Believe it or not, they have like apparently somewhere in the realm of like 28 million left in cap space that they're not spending.
Yeah, they don't spend it.
It's like and they're spending a good portion of their money all on Maurice Jones-Drew. Yeah, this team sucks.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking here? I'm thinking these are one of the. It's possible the Jaguars is one of the only teams that actually making money, if only because they refuse to spend money.
They refuse to spend it. That's why they're keeping money. That's why they're not in financial straits. Okay?
Yeah.
It's just because they're frugal. What do you think, Ali?
I'm going to be the most generous person here and give them the amazing score of 3.
I gave him 4.
Oh, I thought you gave them 2.
No, I gave him 4.
I'm going to give them 3 then, because I think that they're going to win, like, against the shittiest teams, but that's about it.
That's about it, yeah.
So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And to be honest,
I think that they're going to be the worst off when it comes to the cat teams.
Totally. We've predicted 1, 2, 3, and 4. I can see any of those scores happening. I could even see winless.
Yeah.
That's how
that
bad.
That requires a special kind of suck.
That requires a special.
Yeah, well, if anybody has it, it's the Jaguars.
The Jags are bad, but I don't think they're winless bad just yet. I don't think they're winless bad just.
I think with a bit of luck they can do it.
They could.
Well, if they had a really hard schedule and like the first 6 wins were so devastating that they lose all morale, that can cause a winless.
That could cause a winless. It's possible. It's a possibility. I don't want to see it, but if it happens, it happens.
But
Are you kidding me? I want to see it. I'm sorry.
When was the last winless? Was it the Bills?
I can't remember who the last winless was.
I mean, the only people that I can think of that could... Yeah, but yeah, the first 6 look like pretty tough games for them.
Oh, yeah. They're totally... I can't see them maybe for, like, 2, but I can totally see them losing. Those 2 that I've said maybe to. I said maybe to Oakland, and I said maybe to St. Louis.
Yeah.
And if they lose, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. We'll move on then to the Tennessee Titans, who I think will be doing the second worst in this division.
Yeah.
I do not like the Titans one bit. This team is terrible. And the only reason that they'll pull off like these amazing wins is because for some reason LP Field just it does something to either of the teams, whether it's the Titans or the people visiting them. Sometimes LP Field, it's just, for some reason, they can get wins they shouldn't get at home. And it's the only reason I have them doing better than the Jags.
Well,
It's because they can pull out wins out of their ass that they shouldn't.
even then, they've got objectively they're actually better than the.
Oh, they're definitely better than the Jags.
Yeah.
They're just not. They're not a good team, though.
No. They're not.
They're not one of the worst. Definitely by far. There's a lot worse teams.
They're really poor.
And they've also got a what the fuck win in Atlanta, at least. Unlike the Jags, who are predictably sucky even on preseason.
I mean, the problem with the Titans is they aren't terribly bad, but they're middle of the road team, and best case scenario for the Titans, and I do mean this is the very best case scenario, is 8-8. That is the best case scenario for the Titans.
I think they're going to do really poorly, but like not the worst. So
yeah,
but that's the best case scenario is 8. But I don't even think they'll be able to pull off 8-8.
I'm saying 6-10.
You said the exact same score. I was going to say, Ali. I think 6-10.
Because they're going to win some. They're going to win some games definitely, but not a lot.
I think 6-10. Well, let me just see what they got last year. Actually, Titans. They got 6-10 last year. I predict the exact same. Scores last year 6-10. They don't improve. They've done hardly anything to improve.
Yeah, they're just exactly the same as last year.
They're the same. To me, they are the same. What do you think, Vardy?
I think they might actually do worse.
You think they do worse?
Yeah, a bit worse, like 5. I'm thinking 5.
Possibility. There's a possibility. What about you, Rockton?
Looking at the schedule, which is is not an very easy schedule for them, apart from a few games here and there. I see, and given that they really have no one of real note on their team apart from Chris Johnson, who, after that rookie year, has fallen off the fucking map.
Yeah, dude, I was gonna say I don't know a single person.
He had a really good. Supposedly he had a comeback year last year. I don't know if I'm.
That was his comeback year?
Apparently.
I don't know.
Well, if that was his comeback year, well, I'm not expecting much.
I'm gonna give them a 6-10 record. Fair
enough. That is the AFC South. We will move on to the NFC South. And we will start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are hot and they're ready to play. That's from their old Tampa Bay football song. If you've heard that song, it's the most hilarious song ever made. Hey, hey, Tampa Bay, the Bucs are hot and they're ready to play. Terrible.
Well, they did better than I expected last year.
They did. Josh Freeman, good quarterback.
Yep.
Good. He's not He's not. I wouldn't say he's elite by any means, but he's good.
And they've got pretty good defense all around.
Dude,
it's decent.
Dude, their defense is ranked.
Sorry, offense. I was
gonna say their defense is ranked 29th.
Yeah.
Ouch.
No. Yeah,
their defense. Yeah.
They're glass cannons all the way.
Their offense is pretty good if they can get going. It's just they can't stop anyone.
The thing about the Bucs defense here is it says that they're rated number 1 in stopping the run, but when it comes to passing, they are last in the league at stopping the pass.
Oh my God, that's bad.
They cannot stop the pass. So if they go out against a passing team,
which it shows in the preseason, they went against the Patriots and Baltimore,
who are passing teams.
Yeah, and they lost.
They lost, and they went against Miami, which is. Would you say Miami's a running team? I think it's kind of a mix.
But
Between,
they have Reggie Bush.
they do have. I'd say it's a mixed team.
Yeah, but they barely won against Miami even then.
They won by 1 point. Yeah.
Yeah.
They won by 1 friggin' point. Against Miami.
If you actually look at the stats for the preseason, you can see they're actually getting better with each game.
Now
the score gap is getting better.
Yeah, but
so
let's keep in mind their defense for passing here for a moment. They're last in the league for stopping the pass. Then let's look at this schedule and tick off all the teams that have a passing offense.
Go ahead.
At the New York Jets, passing offense. Home against New Orleans, passing offense. At New England, passing offense. Home against Arizona. Does Arizona have a passing offense? I don't know. I don't watch Arizona.
No, not really.
Not really. Bye week. Philadelphia. Passing offense. At Atlanta. Carolina. Yeah, passing offense. Carolina. I don't know. I don't watch Carolina.
Seattle is a runoff. Is more of a run offense.
At Seattle. Miami's mixed. They're home against Miami. That could go either way. Home against Atlanta. At Detroit,
that's a passing offense.
At Detroit, passing offense. At Carolina, home against Buffalo, which is let's just fuck up offense. Home against San Francisco.
San Francisco is a bit of a mix. They're a little more passing, but they definitely have Frank Gore on.
Yeah.
So
then they're at St. Louis, at New Orleans. They got a lot of passing teams.
Yeah, this is almost engineered against them. I really wanted them to do better, but they don't look at all.
If they can't improve their passing defense, they've got a struggle ahead of them this season. Doesn't matter how good your offense is, you need good defense.
I want to give him better, but unfortunately, I can't give him more than 5'11".
Let me just see where the Bucks were last year, actually. Buccaneers. Where the hell are the Bucks on this? They went 7-9 last year.
I'm generous. I'd give him 6.
6. I say 8-8.
I said they were going to figure something out about halfway in and just show some improvement. So I think they're going to do at least one better than last year.
8-8?
Yeah.
8-8. What do you think, Roxanne?
It's not going to be a huge improvement, but you can
really
tell.
Definitely not. Yeah, without a doubt.
I think they're going to lose the first couple of games, then get their shit together and just dude, we got to do something about all these passings.
Yeah,
of course they could also be, because it's possible that they're actually working on it too. I'm thinking of changing to 8-8.
Average.
I think they'll do 8-8, which for the Bucks, that's a good record for the Bucks because the Bucks have
they have really bad luck usually.
And plus they've been a rebuilding team for the past few years, so we're not expecting Super Bowl wins. So 8-8 is good for the Bucks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not really seeing their schedule. I'm not seeing that many wins considering their schedule, so I'm gonna go 6-10.
6-10 for you, that's fine, right? I see it as a possibility. I do. I do. I see that as a possibility.
And anything from 5 to 8 is pretty plausible for them.
It's plausible, yeah. We go to another team that went 7-9 last year. That's the New Orleans Saints.
The Saints.
I think this is going to be the turnaround year for the Saints. They got back. They've got back a lot of their players that were suspended from the whole Bounty Gate scandal. They have their coach back.
Bounty Gate?
I think
the Bounty Gate scandal, yeah.
I think this team's gonna probably turn around and either be the best in the division or second best. I honestly can see that happen.
just look at the statistics, and you're gonna see something incredible, just
Yeah,
incredible.
I was just about to see. Let me tell you about their defense, Rocktan.
Yeah,
Last in the league.
yeah, but still,
I thought
if
the
you
Bucks
look
were
at
last
it,
in the league.
no.
The Bucks are overall the Saint. The Bucks are last in the league at stopping the pass, and the Bucks are first in the league at stopping the rush. So overall, they are 29th. The Saints are 31st at stopping the run, 31st at stopping the pass, 32nd overall.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
So they got
They-
cardboard
they-
cutouts as defense.
Yeah, but here's the thing. But they've got the second best offense here.
Without a doubt, Drew Brees can air that ball out like there's not. Drew Brees is
They've won all of their preseason games.
They've won it all, and
This is literally the best defense. Offense, the best defense is a good offense.
Like I
And
said,
this is
they're
a good
probably going to
offense.
use that method I brought up, where they're just going to try and outscore.
Yeah, they're the Saints right now are what the Colts were a couple years ago. The team that has no defense but can just score point bundles that they can give up points and still win.
yeah, because they're first in the passing game right now.
What's the running game?
The running game, they're 25th.
But they don't need it. It's because they don't need it, to be honest.
They do. They are getting some hopefully decent runners. They have like Mark Ingram, who might have a better, who might improve. I don't know.
As long as they can make improve their running game by the second half,
And the thing
they're
about,
gonna do excellent.
the thing
But
about,
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay, their running game, as long as it improves by the second half, they can manage. Because while they work that out, they can just keep using their passing game to win them points, to win them the games, and just take it easy until they figure out their running game. And when they do, they're gonna be something incredible.
Yep, I think so. That, and also there's my theory that the New Orleans Saints have angels helping them on the football field.
There's angels on the field.
There's angels on the field!
As long as there isn't a kid sitting, I'm just imagining just.
Think about it. Think about it. When it's like, oh no, the Saints have no chance of winning this. Oh, Drew Brees makes a 300-yard pass. Oh, 300 yards passing for Drew Brees. 6 touchdowns. Oh, we're winning the Super Bowl.
If I see Joseph Gordon-Levitt sitting in the stadium, I know there's gonna be angels.
There's angels on that field.
There's angels in the end zone.
There's angels. If I see Christopher Lloyd, then I know there's angels on that. A reference that not many people are probably going to get unless
unless they really, really like us.
I think the Saints are going to do well. I do think that. I don't think they're going to clinch the division. I think they're going to get the wild card. That's what I think they're going to get. And I think they're going to get 10 wins.
I think they're going to manage 12. I really do.
They're going to improve, but the extent of how much they can improve is kind of questionable. So I'm going to say
considering what they... Yeah, go ahead.
10 wins.
How about you, Roxanne?
That sounds fair to me.
Given their schedule, I could agree with 10 wins, but I think they could probably surprise maybe one of those. There's a potential that they could probably surprise one of those teams that they the tough teams, and I'm gonna give them an 11-5 record.
So I'm being generous here.
And I do agree that they could probably hit a wild card, get a wild card with that. Definitely with that record. For sure.
Here's the thing. I think they can at least. Yeah. No. Probably yeah. At the very least, they can manage a wild card.
At the very least, they'll manage a wild card. That's
Yeah.
what I think. That's me personally. We'll move on then to the Carolina Panthers.
Well, apparently, they are doing better this year than last one.
Apparently, yeah. The Carolina Panthers. Let me just see what they got last year.
Oh shit! They got like I think they got 6 or 7.
I'm trying.
No. I think they were 8-8.
They got 7 and 9 last year.
7?
Yeah,
Okay.
7 and 9, same as the Saints last year. Same as the Saints
Has
and the Bucs
anything
last year.
happened to the Panthers between last season and this one? Like any new add-ons?
I don't know. I'm just looking at their injury report now to see what the injury report is. They got 2 wide receivers injured and a running back injured. The injury for the wide receivers is unknown. The running back pulled his hamstring or something. Was still out of the from 2-second preseason. As he continued, he strained his hamstring. He's expected to return. Okay, so he'll be back before the season anyway, so that doesn't matter. Transaction. I don't know if they got what piece. I don't follow the Panthers one bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I know their stadium, and I know their coach, and that's about it. I know nothing about the Panthers, other than that they're a cat team. Their stadium name and their coach's name. You can listen.
Let me look at their roster so I can help you.
Yeah, that's
a
what I'll look
little
at.
bit of like
Let's
like
see.
who they have on their like players.
I don't see anybody new here.
I'm not seeing anyone that sparks like
Yeah.
interest. Cam Newton's still their quarterback.
Okay. Yeah, we still have Cam Newton. Other than that, they have Jimmy Clausen and Derek Anderson, so they don't have. They don't have much
Jimmy
in the way of-
Clausen. Yeah, what an elite player.
They have really no one in the way of backing them up. That apart, D'Angelo Williams only I think sounds familiar, but apart from that, their running back, their running name is pretty lackluster.
Yeah.
And on their receiving, they do have Steve Smith, which is he's a quite good receiver actually.
I'm just looking at their schedule. Home against Seattle, at Buffalo, home against the Giants, bye week at week 4, at Arizona, at Minnesota, home against St. Louis, at Tampa Bay, home against Atlanta, at San Fran, home against New England, at Miami, home against Tampa, at New Orleans, home against the Jets, home against New Orleans, at Atlanta.
They're not gonna have a good season.
I don't think they're gonna have a good season.
I think they're going to stagnate and then do slightly worse than last season, so like a 6-10.
I think they'll do 5, personally.
I think they're just gonna stay. I'm considering between 6 and 7. But
I can see 6 and 7, but I'm sticking with 5.
I'm gonna give them 7 and 9. Yeah, 7 and 9.
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
They're definitely gonna do the worst in the division.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
Well, actually, for where I have them, they're actually second worst because Bucks are the worst.
You got the Bucks as the worst.
Because they're at 6. Yeah.
How
Bucks
much did they?
Bucks at 6 and 10.
How much did I give Bucks again? Did I give him 8?
You gave him 8, yeah. I've been writing down what
I'm writing mine down.
I'm writing mine down, yeah. Write yours down, Faraday.
Shit, I forgot to write mine down.
Yeah.
And also my memory's really bad, so I kind of forgot some of the
You
things
can,
that.
you can look over the teams again and their schedules and just make a note of it personally to yourself. And, like down the line, I'll just ask you, oh, what was your prediction? And blah, 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 blah. Or you can just listen back to the recording once we've got it up on YouTube and just make note then.
Okay.
That's what you could do when we've got it up on YouTube. Listen back to it and make notes as what you said. I'll make a note as I make the predictions. Okay, Roxanne, you've got the Bucks as the bottom of I've got Panthers as the bottom of the division. I do have the Atlanta Falcons, however, winning the division.
Yeah, Yeah, Falcons by far are the best in their division.
Now, they've lost each of their preseason games, but I think they'll get their shit together by regular season. I really do.
They have a good quarterback, great receiving core, solid defense, great running back, good running back too. Pretty good running back. They're just an all around. That's one of those teams that like I think that it's like they don't really stand out in. They don't have like any like standout area. They're just like kind of good all around.
Yeah, they're like good but not great at everything.
Yeah, I like I said, I think this is going to be like a battle between the Falcons and the Saints, and I do think it's just.
And sometimes that's the best. The best team is the team that just can do everything well.
Yeah. Yeah, an all-around team, definitely. I think there'll be a battle between the Falcons and the Saints. I think the Saints get second, but I think there'll only be like one game between them. So I've got Atlanta 11-5.
Let's see.
Atlanta last year, let's just actually see what they did last year. They were 13-3 last year. I think they do a little worse than that, an 11, because the Saints have improved, and they might bring some good competition to Atlanta Falcons. So I think Atlanta goes 11 and eke out the division.
I think they're going to go 12-4 because I do think they're not going to do as well, but they're still going to do really well.
The way I'm putting it, they would be second because I'm putting them at 11. I'm not seeing them doing as well as last year. So that would automatically put the Saints on top.
Fair enough.
Reasonable.
And what was
yeah, and plus there's been a lot of Saints Row games, so yeah.
Saints
What
Row
was yours?
games.
Yeah, just a bullshit reason for no good reason.
What was yours, Rockton?
I'm gonna give them a 12-4.
12-4. Fair enough. We will move on then. Hold on to the NFC East. One of the many people view it as one of the stronger divisions in football.
Oh, they're one of the weakest.
I'd say they're one.
There's only one really good team on that, and they're gonna run away with the division. And they pretty much run away with the division, and they have been for several years now.
We'll start off the NFC East with the Dallas Fumbles a Lot Cowboys.
Oh wait, I thought you were talking about the AFC East. Never mind.
No, the NFC East.
NFC East. Okay.
I'm sorry. Did I say fumbles a lot? I meant interceptions a lot, Cowboys. Because Dallas, they've got Tony Romo, who for some reason this guy's still a quarterback.
Tony can't catch shit, Romo.
He cannot throw a pass to save his life. This guy.
Hold on. Sorry to do this again, but where are we?
NFC East, Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
This guy.
Why do they have this guy?
Oh.
Because he is a celebrity.
He is, without a doubt, the most overrated quarterback in the league.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt. This guy cannot throw a pass. To save his life, cannot throw a pass. He relies on those wide receivers making the right moves because he can't throw it. He's going to throw it.
He shows occasional flashes, but that's it.
It's like he can't be bothered to play.
I was
like he
wondering if
can't be
he's one of
bothered.
those guys who has potential but doesn't train worth shit.
I honestly think that's what it is. I really
Because
do.
he thinks he doesn't need to.
He's like, I'm getting a superstar's paycheck for half-assing it. Why do I
Why
have to
the
train?
fuck should I?
He's like, yeah, exactly. He's getting a superstar's paycheck.
He's the Randy Orton of the NFL.
Yeah, he's getting a superstar's paycheck for half-assing it. He really is. He doesn't need to put in 100% because he's getting a superstar's paycheck. So,
Yep.
screw it. I'm a franchise quarterback. I'm good. He's not led them to a single championship, I don't think. As far as I can remember. Conference championship. If he has, it's not been memorable to me. He's not led them to a Super Bowl, I know that much.
I just imagine him like Catherine Tate, Emma Bovard.
This guy... The only reason they make passes is the wide receiver core. Because otherwise, there'd be a hell of a lot more interceptions.
Yeah.
Hell of a lot more.
They better pray they don't get any injuries or they're fucked.
Yeah, I'm actually going to look at their injury report right now. See if...
No receivers injured or anything.
Yeah.
What do they have in there? Do they have Des Bryant still, or didn't he? I think he went over to New England actually.
I think they still have Bryant. Let me check on the roster. Yeah, they still have Des Bryant.
Okay.
Yeah, they still have Des Bryant. Their schedule. Home against the Giants. That's their first game. Home against the Giants. At KC. Home against St. Louis. At San Diego. Home against Denver. Home against Washington. At Philadelphia. At Detroit. Home against Minnesota. At New Orleans. Week 11 is their bye week. At New York Giants. Home against Oakland. At Chicago.
Wow, they have a long.
They've got a long wait for that bye week. Then they're at New York Giants, home against Oakland, at Chicago, home Green Bay, at Washington, home Philly.
You know what? I was gonna say that this bye might work in their favor. You know, give them a little boost near the end, when all the other teams are kind of dead tired. But the teams at the end are all kind of like the juggernauts, except
really are.
with the exception of a couple.
With the exception of Oakland and
Yeah.
Chicago, their last few games, except with the exception of Oakland and Chicago, they got to go up. I can see them totally shitting the bed against the Giants, against Green Bay, Washington, and Philly.
And that's assuming Chicago doesn't have one of those. The Bears don't have one of those incredible what the fuck moments.
I don't see them doing well in this division this year.
Definitely not.
I won't say they're the worst. Actually, I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to put at the bottom spot here, because I'm thinking the bottom spot will either go to the Cowboys or the Redskins. In my personal view. I don't even know if they're going to go 8-8.
I'm putting them at 7. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm putting them at 9. Just because I don't know, but I'm putting them at 9.
What did they get last year? Let me see what they got last year, Cowboys. Before I even make my decision, what did they get? Cowboys. Where are they? Cowboys went 8-8 last year, so yeah, 9. I say they do the same as last year. I put them at 8-8.
I'm thinking they're gonna do at least a little bit better than last year, but that's assuming, of course, they don't injure anybody.
I think they're going to do slightly worse.
So 7 for you, Ali?
Yeah.
What about you, Rockjan?
Considering their schedule, I'm really not seeing that many wins, and I honestly do think they're going to be the worst of their division. They're going to be 4-12.
Ooh!
Dude.
Ooh.
Low ball in it there.
Cajones.
If they go 4-12, Dallas will riot. Dallas will riot if they go 4-12.
Yeah,
That will be a day
this
to.
if they do as badly as I predict, Tony Romo
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. The Dallas fans.
I don't see how the fans don't cry together as one and say get Tony Romo off this football team.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna say it right here. I don't think they're gonna.
I think already, you know.
Like, if they go 4-12, the fans will be calling for blood. Jerry Jones will be getting letters saying, "Fire Jason Garrett. Get rid of Tony Romo. This team sucks." Like, Jerry Jones will be getting hate mail and death threats.
That'd be hilarious,
though. 4-12.
You see, here's the thing. I looked at the Redskins.
Jerry Jones will get threats against his family.
Oh, that's horrible.
I know.
It is horrible, but I'm sorry. The Dallas.
That's kind of what happens with internet guys, though.
It shouldn't be funny, but I can see it. I can see it happen.
Yeah, but I was gonna give him 9, but I just looked at the Redskins, and I'm thinking the Redskins could easily take him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Redskins.
And get rid of Tony Romo and kill your own motherfucking family.
Yeah, no, I'm switching. I'm switching my to my prediction. It's 7-9 at least.
Like, I can see Dallas fans just going insane, though. I mean, I don't think your prediction will come to light, Rucktown, but if it does, boy, am I gonna laugh.
I'm looking at the schedule and I'm only really seeing 4 wins.
Boy, am I gonna laugh.
That's honestly what I'm seeing.
Boy, am I gonna laugh if you're right, because I can just imagine the reaction that happens in Dallas. Jerry Jones will have the biggest hissy fit in the world. Oh, he will fire so many people.
You're fired. You're fired, and you're.
I paid $1 billion for this stadium out of my own goddamn money.
I think the fans don't. It's not just Jason Garrett and Tony Romo. They don't want Jerry Jones there either.
You know what? When I'm going back on the schedule, I'm only seeing at most 5 wins. I'm thinking they're gonna pull something out right out of their asses. I'm thinking Tony Romo's gonna do one of his splashes and win them a couple of games, but that's about it.
Oh dear Lord, it's gonna be a bad day in Dallas if they go 4-12. It really is.
I don't think they.
That'd be fucking funny,
even if they get 5, that's still gonna be bad enough that the fans are going insane.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's gonna be a bad day in Dallas if that happens. I'll laugh my ass off though if it does. We'll laugh my ass off. We move on to what was once upon a time the Dallas Cowboys' biggest rival, the Washington Redskins.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, like I said, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Not anymore because the Redskins have actually pulled way away from them and have actually become a dangerous team because they have one RG3.
RG3 impresses me.
Yeah.
He's good. Like really fucking good.
And I'm seeing he's probably getting their offense up into shape.
The rest of the team's pretty okay, but RG3's like standout.
They have one hell of a running game because of RG3.
Yeah.
One hell of a running game. They are first in running right now, the rushing game. They've won all their preseason games so far. Their schedule: home against Philly, at Green Bay, home against Detroit.
I could see them going 4-0 for the bye.
Up to the bye, I can see them going 4-0. Yeah. Then they're at Dallas. I can see them winning at Dallas without a doubt. Home against Chicago, at Denver, home against San Diego, at Minnesota, at Philly, home against San Fran, home against the Giants, home against KC, at Atlanta, home against Dallas, at New York Giants. You know what? looking at this schedule, they have a possibility, and I've got the Giants winning the division, but they've got a possibility to win the division if they do really well here. They've got the looking at this schedule, they could possibly eke out the division.
Yep.
At least
they play their cards right,
or at least the wild card. I was originally going to put the Eagles at second, but now I'm thinking of putting the Washington Redskins at second after looking at this schedule. I'm going to give them 10 wins.
I was going to say, 10-6, and I think they're going to at least go into the playoffs.
At least. Be it through wild card or running the
Either wild card or one of the lower entries into the playoffs, but they're going to make the playoffs.
I think so, yeah. What you got 10-6 then?
Yeah.
What about you, Verde? What's your score?
10-6.
10-6, and Rockdown.
I'm actually going to give them 11-5. I see. I'm looking at their schedule. I could see an 11-5 record. And they're either gonna, they could possibly either win the division or they're gonna probably be in close contention, maybe they're gonna probably be in a close race between them and Giants, really close, and they could either win or get a wild card.
Yeah, definitely, I can see that. And if Rob is listening to this, that could make him a very happy camper. That we're praising his Washington Redskins.
I thought that was No Leaf's team.
And No Leaf, but Rob supports them as well.
Yeah.
And because Rob's really one of us here, so
I think Rob supports them
because Washington's not that far away from Virginia, isn't it?
I don't know. I think
it's not. It's not.
Which Washington? We talking D.C. or Washington?
I don't know.
Because if it's Washington, then it'd be here.
I don't know. I just know he supports the Redskins.
Let me find out where the Redskins are located. I'm just curious now.
So, me, Avi, and Vardy all agree on 10. Rockdown decided to go with 11. We'll move on then to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, never mind. They're not. They're not actually. They're called the Washington Redskins, but they're actually not in. They're not located in Washington at all, which is why Rob. You know why Rob likes them?
Why? They're in Virginia?
Yes. That's really weird.
Oh wait. Well, they're headquartered in Virginia, but they play in FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland.
That's really weird.
That is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it's one of those cases.
They're the Washington Redskins. They play in Maryland, are headquartered and trained in Virginia.
The fuck?
You could save a lot on commute if you actually put it in one place.
If you stuck to the fucking state you're supposed to be in, you could save a lot in traveling.
Yeah. I'm thinking. Yeah, if somebody told me that the Redskins are hemorrhaging money, I'm gonna tell them. Well, of course, all the bus fare. That's gotta hurt.
They actually train in Rob's home city.
Richmond.
Yep.
Hey Rob, buy a fucking computer.
Okay. We'll move on.
I missed you, Rob. And by the way, Rob, what the hell is happening to you? You're the captain of Orton hate. You call yourself the captain of Orton hatred, and now you're actually liking the guy. What the hell is happening to you, man? Heel.
I think he broke.
Either way, we'll go on to the Philadelphia Eagles, who now, when I'm looking at the Washington Redskins, don't look so good as I originally placed them.
Well, let's look at the schedule.
Okay, schedule. At Washington, home against San Diego, home against KC, at Denver, at the New York Giants, at Tampa, home against Dallas, home against Giants, at Oakland, at Green Bay, home against Washington. Week 12 is their bye week. Home against Arizona,
That's a
home
really
against
late bye
Detroit,
week.
at Minnesota, home against Chicago, at Dallas. I'm gonna put them at 9.
That's my thought. I'm considering either 8 or 9.
Yeah, what I'm seeing, I'm gonna put them at 9 myself.
What do we talk about?
Yeah.
The Philadelphia
Eagles.
They're kind of one of those teams that always do pretty okay.
One thing is that I've heard that they say Vic wants to run more, which is not a good idea, Vic. You're an idiot. You have barely any of offensive line.
They could have some seriously good passing offense if they concentrated on that.
You become a passing quarterback. Live with it, Vic. Seriously.
Yeah, you can't run anymore, Vic. It's just what happens when you get old. And when you get...
Well, he can't... I don't think it's that he can't run. It's more... physically, he can. He'll just get killed if he does.
Yeah, they expect it now. That's the problem with scrambling quarterbacks, is eventually teams wise up. Eventually.
I'm saying 9 because the 12-week bye can actually get them through some of the kinda harder games here, like Detroit, like maybe Minnesota, maybe against Chicago. Those are going to be easy wins. They've got at least 4 games in the end here that they could easily take in. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. What did you say again, Ali? For your score, Ali?
Huh?
What was your prediction for the Eagles?
I was gonna just say, like, really generic 9-7.
Well, we can all agree on 9 and 7. That's fine. That's what I think they'll do. It's the best I think they can get. If they do better, good for them. If they don't, well, you should have done better. Then we go to the ones that I think will run away with this division, and that's the New York Giants.
I'm not seeing that. I just don't. I think the Giants have kind of toppled from the mountain that they had a few years ago when they were winning the Super Bowl.
They're not impressing me this year.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
But their schedule isn't exact. I mean, at Dallas, home against Denver, at Carolina, at KC, home against Philly, at Chicago, home against Minnesota, at Philly, bye week 9, home against Oakland, home against Green Bay, home against Dallas, at Washington, at San Diego, home against Seattle, at Detroit, home against Washington.
That is an easy schedule.
Their score last year, let me see what it was. Giants. They were 9 and 7 last year, and they've got an easier schedule this year.
I think they're gonna bump it up to a 10 and 6, but I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs.
I think they're gonna do an 11.
I'm not seeing it. I'm thinking they're not gonna get any better. 9 and 7.
Well, it's because of the easier schedule that I think they were gonna get a 10.
What about you, Roxanne?
I'm seeing an 8 and 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
I don't think I don't think they're gonna do out and out horrible, but yeah, they're gonna be just middle of the road.
Fair enough. We'll then move on to the
But
AFC.
that still makes them the worst in the division. But it's worst in a really
Good division.
well. Actually, no, that doesn't make them worse because actually third worst. There's still it's not a winning record, but at least they're better than the Cowboys.
Yeah, they're better than the Cowboys, without a doubt. We'll move over to the AFC East, and we'll go to my favorite team, the Miami Dolphins.
Ah.
That's Lorcat's favorite team, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he likes the Giants.
Other than the Giants, he likes the Dolphins, I think.
I really like the Dolphins this year. We got Ryan Tannehill. He had a good rookie year last year. The team got together the last half of the year. They were kind of doing meh, and then Ryan Tannehill pulled out the stops, got the wins we needed. I think Ryan Tannehill will make a very good quarterback for the Dolphins. I think he could be a future franchise quarterback for the Dolphins if all goes well. Defense, we still need to improve our defense, without a doubt. We're kind of lackluster on that. The offense, that's kind of the thing with the Dolphins, is they've got a good offense and a kind of mediocre defense. Their defense can be absolutely terrible. It can't stop anybody. Which hopefully they'll have improved this year, but I don't know any important names that they got for defense this year. I mean, on offense, they've got Ryan Tannehill, they've got Devon Bess, one of my favorite wide receivers. They got Reggie Bush on the running game, who's not that bad on running game. I think they'll. Let me look at what they did last year. They went 7-9 last year. I think they're going to do better this year. They've improved. Tannehill's improving as a quarterback. The new acquisitions they got last year and working in this year, and the new offense they got last year, they've worked out the kinks. So I think they're going to be more as a unit. Do I think they'll make the playoffs? I would like them to. Whether they will or not is a whole other ball game. I think it'll come down to a wild card battle.
No. It's still football.
Bye then. I think it'll come down.
You said it would be a whole different ball game. It wouldn't. It would still be football.
But you know what?
You came in too late, Nathan. You're not allowed to talk. Shut up.
Way too late. I think it'll be a battle for the wild card between the Dolphins and the Jets. I do think it'll be a battle for the wild card between them two. Because I'm sorry, as bad as the Jets are, they're still not as bad as the Bills. So I think it will be a battle for the wild card between the Dolphins and the Jets. And I'd like the Dolphins to win the wild card and make it to the playoffs. I really would. And hopefully that happens. As a Dolphins fan, I would like it to happen.
I think you're being optimistic.
I am being optimistic for the Dolphins.
Because here's the thing. For all intents and purposes, the Dolphins should be a good team. A pretty good team.
Yeah.
On paper, they're a pretty good team. For some reason or another, when they hit the field, nothing works.
Well, they're not organized enough, I think. That'd probably be a problem.
Yeah.
They got a lot of young talent out there, right? It's a young team.
Yeah. And but yeah, they're not meshing together.
Their schedule, it isn't the hardest one in the world, though. I mean, they're at Cleveland, at Indianapolis, home against Atlanta, at New Orleans, home against Baltimore, bye week 6. Home against Buffalo, at New England, home against Cincy, at Tampa, home against San Diego, home against Carolina, at the Jets, who I think they can beat, at Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, home against New England, at Buffalo, home against the Jets. I think they'll win at least one of their games against the Jets, because as disorganized as you say the Dolphins are, Vardy, the Jets are so much worse.
Yeah.
Did everyone give the record for the Dolphins yet?
For the Dolphins, no. I kind of went on a Dolphins. I'm a huge Dolphins fan rant. I'm going to give them 9 wins.
I'm only going to give them 8.
I'm going to say 8 because I'm slightly more pessimistic.
Yeah, I'm right along with Vardy and Ollie. I'm giving them 8 and 8.
That's fine. When they go 9 and 7 or above, I'm going to laugh in your faces and be like, I told you so. Yes. Oh, I hope they get 9 and 7. I really do. I want them to make the wild card at least. Go to the playoffs, Dolphins. What happened to that undefeated team? The only undefeated team in history. Bring that back. I'd like that. And plus, they had a new coach last year as well, in Joe Philbin. So it was kind of everything was new last year. So I think they'll do better. But 8 and 8 would still be better than their record last year. So you're still putting them at a better position. So thank you. We'll move on then to their biggest rival. Their biggest rival for years, the New York Jets.
Oh my God!
I hate
this. The Jets are have become the joke of football.
They really have.
That bad, huh?
No, dude, they are so disorganized. Like last year when they had Mark Sanchez and Tim Tebow, it was just back and forth. Nothing's working. Let's keep switching out our quarterbacks because we got nothing working right now. Like their last game of the season, it was ridiculous. Like they had Mark Sanchez in. He wasn't getting the job done. So like when it was obvious they weren't going to win. Like, I think it was, like, in the third quarter or something, Rex Ryan just decides, okay, Tim Tebow, try and get us out of this deficit. And it's like,
you'll be happy to know they cut Tim Tebow.
Yeah, they did cut Tebow. Do they still have Sanchez?
Yeah, they do.
Tebow is now on the Patriots.
Yeah, Tebow.
And they're not and from what it looks like, they're not doing anything with him.
Why? They got Tom Brady. They don't need to do anything with him. Is he I imagine Tebow's maybe like a secondary at best. But they got Brady. There's no way they're starting Tebow over Brady. No way.
Unless Brady gets injured.
Unless Brady gets injured, we're not seeing Tebow out.
Well, I just don't. Even then, they must. I wonder if they have someone else.
Let me actually look at the Patriots.
They have some. They have a third quarterback who's actually not bad.
I'm just gonna look at their.
Who is it, Vardy?
Ryan Mallett.
Wow. Tim Tebow is the third string quarterback.
Wow.
In the New England offense.
Impressive.
Yeah, they've got Ryan Mallett. They've got Ryan Mallett as second stringer. Yeah. And he's doing okay. He's got a good yardage.
I'm looking at
he averages 5 yards per throw.
Jesus Christ. New York Jets has 4 quarterbacks, and none of them can do anything. They got Mark Sanchez starting, who looks as if he's injured, by the way. Let me look at the injury. What's with the plus? That's weird. Is he injured? Oh my, yeah, Mark Sanchez is apparently injured.
Oh, jeez.
Then they've got Geno Smith, 2. They got Greg McElroy and Matt Sims. Geno Smith is.
I know. I've heard of Geno Smith. And
yeah, he's the second stringer. Greg.
He's probably their best option right now, but that's not saying much.
Is injured right now. Let me see.
Geno, that's not saying much, and Geno because.
Yeah, Sanchez is the injury part here. He injured his.
Geno's a rookie, and he's probably. I mean, he's probably a little more talented than Sanchez. But he's probably going to just get shell shocked.
To be honest, if they actually work on Geno Smith, He could turn out to be pretty good.
Well, Sanchez has been put down as questionable when it comes to the start of the regular season, so we could see Geno Smith starting for the season.
Yep.
We could see that. Then they got Greg McElroy as their third stringer and Matt Sims as their fourth stringer.
Never heard of them.
Who?
I have no idea.
Oh, and more injuries. Santonio Holmes is injured, their best wide receiver.
Ooh.
Wow.
Holmes.
Oh.
Let's see when it comes to their defense. They've got Junior. I can't pronounce that name. Quinton Coples is injured, their left outside linebacker. Rontez Miles is injured, one of their strong safeties. Mike Edwards is injured, one of their right cornerbacks.
Holy shit!
Mike Edwards also is one of their kick returners, so they also injured a kick returner.
What the hell?
They got a few injuries,
So
dude.
if it wasn't bad, if their team wasn't looking bad before, it's looking worse now.
And let's look at their schedule, shall we? They're home against Tampa, at New England, home against Buffalo, at Tennessee, at Atlanta, home against Pittsburgh, home against New England, at Cincy, home against New Orleans, bye week, week 10, at Buffalo, at Baltimore, home against Miami, home against Oakland, at Carolina, home against Cleveland, at Miami.
They've got 9 games, 9 wins at best.
I'm not even giving them that. Because they're such a disorganized team. Rex Ryan has no idea what he's doing with this team. Not a clue.
Like I said, at best.
The only
reason they will not cross the 9 win threshold. Will. Yeah.
No, the only reason he got Tebow last year was because Tebow was popular. That was it. That's the only reason he got Tebow.
And that was useless.
And it was useless. He did nothing with Tebow anyway. He just did a switcheroo every now and then because when Sanchez was fucking up, he'd be like, "Okay, Tebow, we're losing by 20 points. Can you try and save us?" Of course he can't. He's a second. You got him as the second string quarterback, and he was still relatively green.
If it was up to me, I'd put Geno Smith in. I'd use him until it turns out that you might be a touchdown behind, and then you'd put in Sanchez.
Well, Sanchez is questionable for the season. I mean, depending.
Yeah. That's why I'm not putting him as the main choice, because you're not going to be able to depend on Sanchez. Even if he comes back, you're not going to know his condition. Your best bet is Geno Smith at this point.
I'm going to have the Jets going 7-9.
Fair enough.
Really?
I was going to say that they have so many injuries and they just do not have their shit together. I'm going 6-10.
What about you, Rockton?
I just don't see where the wins are coming. I don't see it. I can only see, wow, this is honestly what I'm picking them to do. 1-15.
Wow.
Oh.
Honestly,
seriously, not even the Bills.
That's probably who he's got the win against.
Nope, they're not going to win the Bills.
They're not going to win the Bills.
Nope. Oakland is the only team I can see them beating.
Wow.
I thought I was throwing low with 6-10.
I thought I was throwing low with 7, but okay, 1-15. If they go 1-15, it will be a glorious.
And just as a clarification, when I said 9-7, that was those 7 they lost. That's the guarantees. That's the ones that I can tell you right off the bat. No way in hell they're winning.
Until I saw the schedule, that I honestly predicted them. I honestly was thinking they would go winless, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Honestly, if that were to happen, 1-15 or winless, me as a Dolphins fan would be the most glorious day ever. Because I hate the Jets with a fiery passion and their fan base. Their fan base is a bunch of douchebags.
It's like New York Jets are like the football version of the New York Mets, except the New York Mets actually can win championships. The Jets are like this just that hopeless team, that the hopeless other side of the team that just can't do anything.
Can't do shit.
And they've never done anything ever since they've been in the league.
No. They won one Super Bowl, and they've never done anything since then. And that one Super Bowl.
I just remember, like, I think it might have been an SNL or like a talk show. I think it was a talk show skit. Yeah, it was like. It was one of like Dave Letterman's top 10 lists, and he had like a choir, and I forget what the list was, but the number one thing on the list, the choir sings, "Joy to the world, the season's done, the Jets will lose no more."
Yeah, the Jets have only ever won one Super Bowl, and that was in the 1960s. They've not even been to one since they won that Super Bowl. They are awful. God awful. And the only reason they're not going to be last in the league is because of this team right here, the Buffalo Bills.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills, they look to me like the 5th worst at best. I can at least name 4 teams worse than them off the top of my head.
I think that their quarterback is, he's a little better than he's made. He's not great. He's not very good, but he has had good performances at times. And they have like C.J. Spiller, who is like really good.
Well, you see, they had Kevin Kolb. They got Kevin Kolb in Buffalo, didn't they? Problem is, quarterback situation for Buffalo Bills. First string quarterback Kevin Kolb suffered a concussion, out for August 29th versus Detroit, doubtful for start of regular season. Secondary quarterback E.J. Manuel, out for rest of preseason, questionable for start of regular season. They are relying right now.
I thought they had Ryan Fitzpatrick still.
No, they got rid of Fitzpatrick, dude. They got rid of Fitz.
Oh, really?
They've got 3 quarterbacks. It's Kevin Kolb. It's Kevin Kolb, E.J. Manuel, and Jeff Tuel. Kevin Kolb and E.J. are out for preseason at least.
And Kevin Kolb's the only one I've heard of. Oh, that's not looking good.
Kevin Kolb is Kevin Kolb is doubtful for the start of the season. E.J. is questionable for the start of the season. They're both injured. They're both going to at least be out for preseason. That means they're relying on their 3rd string quarterback.
Yikes.
Jeff Tuel.
Yeah.
How do you win games with your 3rd stringer?
You don't.
Well, apparently they do, because as much as the preseason is like the what the fuck season, winning 2 games with your 3rd stringer, even if the other teams are just futzing around, that may be something to say about that.
One of their cornerbacks as well, Stephen Gilmore, is out until week 6.
Yeah, you know what? Something might be here.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm seeing when, yeah. I don't think the Bills are going to do well. I don't.
They never do.
They never do. They never do.
They never do, but for some, I don't know.
Well, they weren't the Bills like at one point like in 4 different Super Bowls, but they never won.
Yeah, never won a single one.
I'm seeing them. They're looking good. I don't know why, but for some reason I've got a hunch.
Okay, let me read you now. Take into consideration 2 of their quarterbacks. They have no idea whether they're going to make it to the regular season. So we've just got to assume that at least for the first maybe 1 or 2 games, they have to rely on their 3rd stringer. Home against New England. Home against Carolina. At the Jets. Home against Baltimore. At Cleveland. Home against Cincy. At Miami. At New Orleans. Home against KC. At Pittsburgh. Home against the Jets. Bye week at week 12. Home against Atlanta. At Tampa Bay. At Jacksonville. home against Miami, at New England.
Can I give my prediction?
Yeah, go for it.
3-13.
3-13.
Yeah, I'm only seeing 3 wins out of that schedule.
I'm giving them less. I'm giving them 2-14.
Well, then I'm gonna look like a maniac here. I'm giving him 6.
Wow.
Ooh.
You are out there, man.
Yeah.
They did 6 last year, but they didn't have their injured quarterbacks last year. That's the point there.
Actually, yeah. 6 is me being pessimistic.
Were you all getting drugs from the streets of Saudi Arabia there Friday?
What about you, Alan? What do you think of the Bills?
All we got is sand here.
2.
2, same as me. This team's awful. It's not going to do well one bit. And then we go to the team that's probably going to win.
So here's a wager. If they get at least 4,
If they get at least 4?
yeah. Because I don't. Has any of you gave them 4 or more than? Have any of you gave them even 4?
No.
Well, okay. Okay. Let's just. I'll ease it up a bit.
If they go 6-10.
Yeah.
If they go 6-10, I will shout out of my window to whoever's passing by, the Buffalo Bills are going to the Super Bowl.
Okay. If they get. Okay.
That is what I
Okay.
will shout if they go 6 wins before the end of the season. If they go 6 wins or more, I will before the end of the season, I will shout out the Buffalo Bills are going to the Super Bowl, even if I think it's not true, because that's how much of an impossibility I think that record is.
Because I'm looking at it here, and I'm just thinking if they if Doug Marin sees what I'm seeing here, then he might be able to get 6 out of them.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think so. We'll move on to, however, the team that's probably going to win it, the New England Patriots.
Yep.
No, I don't
Tom
think
Brady.
I don't think a whole lot has changed on the Patriots. However, I think Gronkowski, from what I remember hearing, like Gronkowski is injured and he's one of their
Yes.
time players.
Gronkowski has injured his forearm and back. He's questionable for the start of regular season right now. They also have 2 defensive tackles injured, Armand Armstead and Corey Grissom. Corey Grissom is out for the season, and Armand Armstead is out at least until week 7. But Gronkowski, he's just questionable for the start of the season right now.
Even still, it's like the Patriots are like that team that like can find. It's like they're that team that like, regardless if someone's injured, they rally around whoever else, who their other players.
Well, their offense is ranked number 1st right now.
Yeah, they are.
Their offense is ranked number 1.
Their game is their offense is even leave the overall. Just look at the individuals. They're 7th in the running game and they're 4th in the passing game. Those are pretty high stuff.
Their defense is a bit lackluster, but that offense...
They're weak against passing, and as we've already noted, passing games are all the rage this season. So
yeah,
their defense won't count for much.
Their defense won't count for, but I still think they're gonna. I think the way it's gonna come down for the AFC East is Patriots are gonna win and the second place will come either to the Dolphins or the Jets.
Well, so far I've got them as my favorite, but I haven't written up my list yet.
And
So.
I'll read off the schedule so I can at least decide the score here, because the score is what I've been unsure about here. At Buffalo, home against the Jets, home against Tampa, at Atlanta, at Cincy, home against New Orleans, home against at the Jets, home against Miami, home against Pittsburgh, bye week 10, at Carolina, home against Denver, at Houston, home against Cleveland, at Miami, at Baltimore, home against Buffalo.
They've got a lot. This is another one where there's a lot of easy pickings and there's a lot of challenges.
I'm going to give them... Let me actually see what they did last year to see whether I think they'll improve or not. Patriots. They did 12-4 last year. I'm going to say they do the same this year, 12-4.
I gave them 11 already because I just kind of looked at them and I just say they look like an 11th this year. They're gonna do a bit worse, but only because of there were a lot of injuries they had, right?
Not a lot. They have 3 injuries.
Yeah. But it doesn't look like it's gonna affect them much.
No.
Yeah. So that's one game out of it. That's it.
Fair enough. What about you, Roxanne?
I see them doing maybe one worse because of they do have some tough teams in their schedule here and there. I see an 11-5.
Mm-hmm.
11-5. What about you, Ali?
I think they're going to do the same as last year.
Same as last year. Same as me.
So we're basically going on the assumption they're gonna do well enough.
Well enough.
What team was this?
Patriots.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the Patriots. They always seem to do pretty alright.
Yeah.
We'll move on then to, without a doubt, the worst division of the league, the West.
Where I live.
The West.
No.
We'll start with the NFC West, and we will start with the.
Oh God.
We'll start with the Arizona Cardinals. Their offense is ranked 32nd in the league.
They don't have an offense.
That is their
Wow.
I'm just going to look at injuries for a second. That is their offense, okay? Rashard Mendenhall injured, probable for start of the season. One of their nose tackles, Dan Williams, questionable for the start of the season. Darrell Washington, one of their inside linebackers, he is eligible to return week 5. Oh, he was suspended, okay. Darrell Washington, he's eligible to return for week 5. That's all it is for players that are out. Last year, the Arizona Cardinals went... Let me see where they went. Cardinals went 5-11 last year. 32nd overall offense, 12th overall defense so far. This is a preseason.
I'm thinking 5 might be just right.
At St. Louis, home against Detroit, at the Saints, at the Bucks, home against the Panthers, at the 49ers, home against the Seahawks, home against the Falcons, bye week 9, home against the Texans, at the Jaguars, home against the Colts, at the Eagles, home against the Rams, at the Titans, at the Seahawks, home against the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm thinking 5 looks pretty legit.
I'm giving them 4.
I'm going 5. They're not that bad. I think they're bad though.
They're kinda, and their opponents are not like pushovers here.
No.
They've got some pretty tough people.
What about you, Roxanne?
I'm gonna give them 4 wins.
4 wins. Okay, 4 wins. And what was yours again, sorry, Kelly?
I said 5.
5. Yeah. Okay. We'll move on then to the St. Louis Rams.
The Rams.
23rd.
that went from a team that broke the record back when they were the ALA Rams they became the greatest offense in NFL history at one point.
Yep.
But I mean, the Patriots beat them out later.
Yep.
I think. But yeah, they were several years ago. They were like really good, but then they just fell off.
Okay. We got some injuries here for the Rams and some suspensions. Their second stringer running back, Isaiah Peed, suspended, eligible to return week 2. Tight end Corey Harkey out for the start of the season. Tight end Lance Kendricks injured his knee, probable for start of regular season. Right defensive tackle Jermel Cujo injured his foot, questionable for start of the season. One of their linebackers, Joe Lon Dunbar, suspended, eligible to return week 5. One of their strong safeties, Matt Daniels, injured his knee, questionable for start of the season. And their kick returner is also Isaiah Peed, who was suspended.
I gotta say, they're gonna lose
Wow.
their first couple of fucking games.
Wow.
Did they go jumping? Did they go bungee jumping without the bungee cords or something?
No, they thought they had. It was a 200-foot drop,
one
so they
guy
thought they
that's
needed a
suspended?
200-foot bungee cord.
What happened to that one guy that's suspended till week 5? What the hell did he do?
I don't know. Well, he's suspended till week 5. That's all I know. Is he's suspended till week 5. There was 2 actually. No, there's 2. One. Sorry, he's suspended. One suspended till week 2, and the other suspended till week 5. And then there's a bunch of injuries. They are ranked the 23rd overall offense, the 14th overall defense. Last year, what did they do last year? I have no idea. I can't find a. Doesn't matter. I don't think they're going to do too well. In all honesty. Looking at the schedule here. Home against Arizona, at Atlanta, at Dallas, home against San Fran, home against Jacksonville, at Houston, at Carolina, home against Seattle, home against Tennessee, at Indianapolis, bye week 11, home against Chicago, at San Fran, at Arizona, home against New Orleans, home against Tampa, at Seattle.
Hello.
Hello, Mick. We're doing football.
4 wins. That's it.
You're saying 4 wins for the Rams.
Yep.
They got 7 last year, apparently.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of injuries this year,
Okay.
and they're not. I don't think they're gonna recover, especially early on.
I say they do better than 4. I'll give them 6. I think they do worse, but they don't do that worse. 6 and 10 for me. What about you, Ali?
I'm just gonna go 5.
5. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't think they're gonna decline that sharply, but.
What about you, Rutgen? What do you think about
I think they're going to drop to worst team in the division. I see them doing 3 and 13.
13? Wow. Okay. Fair enough. But, well, you've predicted some to go like 1 and 15 though and winless, so I wouldn't say that you predicted the Rams to go the worst in the division. In the league? Oh, in the division, yes. But I thought you said worst in the league for a moment. Yeah, worst in the division. Fair enough. That's fair enough. I say Cardinals do worst personally, but that's just me. Okay, that's the Rams. We'll move on then to the. Actually, before we go to the good team, let's go to Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks.
Well, the Seahawks are doing pretty well.
They've improved. Improved. They've got, so far, the 17th overall offense, the 4th overall defense. I'm looking at... Oh, my God. Wow. Okay. Tight end Zach Miller, injured foot, doubtful for August 29th versus Oakland, questionable for start of regular season. Wide receiver Sidney Rice, injured, questionable for the start of regular season. Percy Harvin, wide
Rice
receiver.
is in there too. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Percy Harvin, wide
Yeah,
receiver.
Percy Harvin, he's out for the season with a hip injury.
Yeah, he's expected to return week 13. Fullback Michael Robinson, illness questionable for Oakland, questionable for start of the season. Defensive players. Greg Scruggs, injured knee, doubtful for the 2013 season. Jesse Williams, knee, IR for out of the season. Brandon Maybane, groin, questionable, probable for start of the season. Jordan Hill, right defensive tackle, biceps, questionable. Right defensive tackle, Chris Clemens, questionable for start of the season. Cliff Averill, hamstring, questionable for start of the season.
Oh my God!
Linebacker Bruce Irvin, suspension, eligible to return week 5. Corey Toomer, knee, questionable for the start of regular season.
Good Lord!
They are injured to hell and a
They
handbasket.
just got crippled. Holy crap!
Injured to hell and a handbasket.
Wow.
They're
And
preseason.
here I was saying that I was thinking they were going to be the second, they're going to be right in contention along. I was thinking they would be in contention right along with San Fran. I don't see that happening now.
Their preseason has cost them, man. Their preseason wins have cost them. And you can see it too, actually, as the weeks go by. 31-10, 40-10, 17-10. Their schedule: at Carolina, home against San Fran, home against Jacksonville, at Houston, at Indianapolis, home against Tennessee, at Arizona, at St. Louis, home against Tampa.
No, this is Mick. This isn't all the Titans. This is the Seahawks.
Oh, the Seahawks.
At Atlanta, home against Minnesota. Week 12, they've got a bye week. Home against New Orleans, at San Fran, at the Giants, home against Arizona, home against St. Louis.
I was just gonna say, like, when it came down to it, I would, like, occasionally cheer for the Seahawks because my state doesn't have a team, but I think I'll skip it this year.
They've got so many players who are questionable right now.
It's funny. I really like the Seahawks, but they have just got crippled, man.
I mean, they'll probably get some of those players back at the start of the season, but they got so many that are questionable. And they've got at least two that are out for the season. They got Percy Harvin out at least till week 13. So that's pretty much the season anyway. He's pretty much out for the season. Week 13 is that point when you kind of know who's going to win and who's going to lose. You got one player who's questionable for the entire season, probably going to be put in IR. It's not looking good for the Seahawks. 7 wins. What did they get last year? Seahawks got 11 wins. Yeah, definitely not going to do that this year. I say 7.
I'm gonna say 6.
Yeah, I'm right with Ollie. I say 6 and 10.
They have way too many injuries, and even if they did well, they can't recover from that quick enough.
What about you, Verde? If you're there. Verde? Verde!
Hello?
Yeah, but what's your prediction for the Seahawks?
7. For some reason, my mic was muted. 7-9.
Okay, and then we'll go to the best team in the NFC West by a mile, the San Francisco 49ers.
The runner, the team that came with only 5 yards of winning the Super Bowl.
Oh my God, it was so sad.
Oh, are you a San Fran fan, Mick?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me
Born
go through the players that they've lost so far for you. DeMarcus Dobbs suspended, eligible to return week 2. Mario Manningham, injured knee, eligible to return week 7. LaMichael James, elbow, questionable for August. It looks like he'll be back for the season, though. Michael Crabtree, Achilles, expected to be out for the start of the season.
Crap.
And we go down to the defense. We've got Lamar Divins, undisclosed, questionable for start of the season. Quentin Dial, questionable. Cam Johnson looks like he'll be back for the start of the season. And Eric Wright, undisclosed, probable for the start of the season.
What the fuck is going on? Are these teams making suicide pacts or something? Because
for the preseason.
Yes.
You know, there was actually someone was saying that one of the things that's happening is that it is because of the very stringent helmet to helmet rules that they've been enforcing. That players are now going lower and lower and are attacking the leg. And that's
well that explains all the knee injuries, I guess.
That explains the knee injuries, yeah. San Fran went 11-4 last year. They got to the Super Bowl. They came 5 yards within winning the Super Bowl. I think without a doubt they're going to win the West because the other teams just suck so badly.
Well, I don't know. You got the Falcons, you got the Saints.
No, the West. The Falcons and the Saints aren't in the West.
My thing might be. Oh yeah, okay.
This is the 49ers.
Just the West. Okay. Never mind me.
This is just the West runabout. I'm not saying they'll be the best in the league without a doubt, and
I
don't know whether they'll make it to the Super Bowl again. I'm not saying that.
But yeah, the West, they're probably the best.
They're gonna clinch the West.
Yeah.
They're gonna clinch the West, and they're gonna make it to the playoffs.
They're probably gonna be pretty shaky at first because of all the injuries.
Yeah.
But they're gonna make it up. They're gonna make it up in the second half.
They're gonna make
it all the way.
I think they'll get a 10-win record.
Yeah.
This year.
I'm right with you, Riddler. I'm honest. I don't, considering their injuries and the schedule, I'm seeing a 10-win season as well. I mean so good enough to clinch the division, but they're probably. I don't see. I'm not sure they'll be able to repeat that Super Bowl, a Super Bowl appearance.
I don't think so. I think maybe next year they could. I mean, Jim Harbaugh was a great coach. I think Harbaugh is definitely a good coach. And I think he'll get the bits and pieces they need for next year. But this year, I don't think they'll go into it. What about you, Ali?
What?
What do you think about the 49ers? What the score they're going to get?
What was their score last year?
11-5.
I think they're going to bump down to 10, but that's about... Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. They went 11-4 and 1 tie.
Weird. But yeah, I'm going to say
That's
either...
tie?
I think I'm going to go 10-5.
Yeah, you can tie in the NFL.
I know that
that's
you
if
can tie, but
run out
I know
of
that it's
time
really
on
fucking
overtime.
difficult.
Sorry, Ali. Final answer once again.
10-5.
Okay.
10-5
Or
and
10-6. Yeah,
10-6, I was going to say. So 10-5 and 1? Okay. No, 10-6. Okay. That's the NFC West. We'll move on to the AFC West, which is just...
Not much better.
Oh my god, these teams. Ooh!
I decided to come back and annoy you some more.
I
Didn't
did.
realize.
Right, oh my god. We'll start with the Denver Broncos.
AFC. This is the AFC West.
This is the AFC West. The Denver Broncos. It's Peyton Manning.
I think the Broncos are probably going to be the.
Oh.
Whoa.
But yeah, we decided to start S.M.A.F.
Hi.
Hey, you're gonna need to obviously get the recorder back up.
It's up already.
Oh, it's up already. It's recording.
Yeah.
Awesome. What were you gonna say then, Rocktan? Because Skype dropped out on us, folks. Sorry. So we'll get back on track. We're on the topic of the Denver Broncos.
I was saying that I don't see the Broncos having much in the way of competition in this division. So I think they could. I think they could pretty. I think they can win this.
You think they
division.
can win?
Oh
this?
yeah. They look. It looks pretty easy for them.
They have a good deep. They have a really good. They have a good defense. They have Manning, and then they're starting to actually develop some weapons around him.
Yeah, they were 13-3 last year, so 4th overall offense, 2nd overall defense. Denver Broncos are going to be the best team this year in the division.
Possibly.
In this division,
I was going to say
I
that's
give
like
them-
being king of the shit, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's being king of the crap, yeah. I say I don't think they'll do 13-3 again. I think they'll do one less. I'll give them 12-4.
Well, they can be happy with being the king of the dunghill.
It is a dunghill. It really is.
Yeah. But that said, I do think they're gonna manage to repeat the same thing, 13-3.
You think 13-3? I go with 12. But yeah, fair enough. 13-3. What about you, Rector? What was your score?
I honestly think, yeah, I think they could. I think they could actually repeat the season that they had last year. I think 13-3.
You think 13-3?
Well, let's check the injury just in case.
I will check the injured list now.
Oh boy.
Well, they're not as bad as other teams.
Yeah, I'd go
Not
12-4.
as bad. They're not as bad as other teams with the injuries
I'll be right back.
here. I don't
The
think they've
injuries,
lost
does the injury list take into account arrests? Because
suspensions. It doesn't say anything about
Yeah.
arrests.
I know that there should be a counter thing on arrests. Because there's a lot of
tight end Joel Dreesen. I don't know how that name is pronounced.
Dresden. Totally.
Dreesen.
Dreesen, yeah.
S Dreesen. Questionable for the start of the season. He's got a knee injury. Wes Welker, wide receiver, he's got an ankle injury. He's probable for the start of the season. So he'll probably come back start of the season. Running back, no Sean Marino, questionable for the start of the season.
I think that's pronounced Notion.
Notion Marino. Okay. Then we got defensive end Derek Wolf, spine injury. Ouch. Questionable for the start of the season. Linebacker Von Miller, suspended, eligible to return week 7. Cornerback Champ Bailey, foot injury, questionable for the start of the season. Cornerback Omar Bolden, ankle injury, questionable for the start of the season. I still give them 12-4. What was yours
Same
again,
time do you
Faraday?
give a fly hook?
You went 13-3 and Rocktown went for 13-3. Okay, we'll move on then to the Kansas City Chiefs.
The
Chiefs.
smelly kid of the group.
The Chiefs, they're not the worst in the division, but they're not good.
They do have a really, really good running back, though.
They have a good running back. Yes, they do.
Jamal Charles is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They do also have Anthony Fasano as their tight end. He's all right.
I think they're going to go 8-0, and that's because they don't turn up for the other games.
No, they'll lose by forfeit, and that's 8-8 if they do that. So that's just
No, they wouldn't turn up, so that it wouldn't count.
yeah. That'd be lost by forfeit though if they don't turn up. They've not got that many people out on injuries or suspensions. They've got Tony Moecki, shoulder injury, doubtful for start of the season. He's a tight end, but he's a third stringer, so eh. Then we got Dexter McCluster, illness, questionable.
Dexter McClusterfuck.
Dexter McCluster. He is probable for the start of the season. Then we've got.
I don't know, that name amuses me.
Then we've got Quinton Demps, probable for the start of the season. He was just out with illness. And that's it.
Well, that's your star player right there, Mr. Dent.
Not really.
Dents.
Second stringer.
He's your star player. Shut up.
The Chiefs last year, what did they do? They went 2-14 last year.
Oh, ouch.
Ouch.
How do these teams that do that badly stay afloat financially?
2-14. Can I see who their win was against? Who did they beat?
Hold on, I'll look.
I'm seeing they didn't beat anybody in their division or their conference.
Hold on. I'm opening it right now.
Who did
They lost against.
No,
they
who did
won
they-
again.
Who did they win?
They beat the Saints by overtime. I guess that was the what the fuck. And they beat. They beat the Panthers.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm one what the fuck win and one they were better than the Panthers.
Their schedule, they're at Jacksonville, home against Dallas, at Philly, home against the Giants, at Tennessee, home against Oakland, home against Houston, home against Cleveland, at Buffalo, bye week, at Denver, home against San Diego, home against Denver, at Washington, at Oakland, home against the Colts, at San Diego. It's not the strongest schedule, but they got 2-14 last year. I say they do a bit better, and I'm going to put them at 4 wins.
I honestly see, looking at the schedule, I'm honestly not seeing where the other those new wins come from. I actually see them repeating the same season they had last year, 2-14.
I think that they're gonna go 12 because an Angels in the outfield is gonna happen.
No, I already made.
No,
that
we
joke.
already made that joke.
We already made
Damn
that
it!
joke about the Saints. We already made that joke about the Saints. That like if there comes a game where they shouldn't win, the Angels are going to come along because it's the
Yeah, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, if he's in the crowd, there's gonna be Angels.
Ali, what do you think about
Either that or Goldberg's gonna join one of them.
Ali, what do you think about the Chiefs? The score they're going to get.
Who?
The Chiefs.
If Goldberg joins anyone, he would join the Dolphins because he apparently speared.
8.
He apparently speared a fam during a Miami Marlins game.
8-8. You do know they went 2-14 last year, right?
Oh. I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Chiefs went 2-14 last year.
I'll go 1-15.
Sad fact is, I can see that happening. What did you say again, Vardy?
I did not say, but I'm thinking 3.
You're thinking 3, and Rockdown, what was yours?
2-14.
2-14. You said the same as last year. Okay, we'll move on to the.
You didn't put down my pick.
Because you'd just be silly. So you'd be like 20-0, even though there's only 16 games.
They played 4 games in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, it's like no. Either be serious or be quiet. Meh. So
Yeah.
No, look, this show needs some silliness because it's a very dry format. Fuck you.
you'd be like, the Staten Island Stapletons will come in and give.
I keep mentioning the Staten Island Stapleton.
I know you do.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Nathan. Nobody likes the comic relief characters.
Oh, but
Look, guys, we go on to the Oakland Raiders.
The hapless Raiders.
I think that the Raiders are going to be replaced with like a group of Raiders from Fallout.
Well,
just
the
shoot
problem
position
here is
with-
their star running back, Darren McFadden, injured, questionable for the 29th, probable for start of the season. David Osbury, questionable for the start of the season. Matt Flynn, their starting quarterback, probable for start of the season, but we'll have to wait and see about that. Rod Streeter, questionable for the start of the season. And then they've also got strong safety Tyvon Branch, questionable for the start of the season. They are 18th overall offense, 18th overall defense, and last year
They had 3 wins. They had 4 wins, I think.
yeah,
Either 4 or 3.
either 4 or 3. Let me see if I can find them. Raiders. Yes, 4-12 last year.
I'm guessing they're gonna go head to head with the Chiefs, and they're gonna be 3-13.
I think the Raiders are gonna win 5. They're gonna beat the case. I think.
I'm right with Vardy, 3-13.
How about you, Ellie?
Sorry, I have it in.
What do you think the Raiders are gonna do?
What'd they do last year?
They went 4-12 last year.
2.
2, okay. Okay, 2. We'll go with that. Do you want to put in your silly pick, Nathan?
I already said that Fallout Raiders are gonna come, so I think that they're actually gonna lose. They're actually gonna go about 4-12 because the Fallout Raiders are gonna be attacked by some death claws part of the way through the season.
Well. Here's the thing. Raiders are not really that good.
Mick, I forgot to.
Yeah,
even
but
in
they can shoot. If they shoot unarmed civilians, they're fine.
Mick, because you're here, why don't you? Yeah.
I have a feeling that the Raiders are not going to are going to get so ashamed by losing so much that they're not going to show up.
And I did actually mean to ask you when we went on San Fran, since that's your favorite team. How'd you think?
San Francisco. I have a feeling that they might go. I'm not going to give I don't think I have a definitive number, but I think they're going to make it to the NFC Championships.
You think
whether they're going to win or not, I'm not sure, but I think they're going to make it to the championships.
You see, I'm a Dolphins fan, and I can't even say that they're going to make it to the championships. I think they'll make it to the playoffs, but that's it. Through the wild card.
I mean, this is the first time that I can ever say that, definitively. I suffered through the whole Mike Nolan era, so I know what it feels like to get, if we just make it to the wild card, it will be okay. But now, I'm finally a fan of a winning team.
We then go to the San Diego, let's put stick 'em on our gloves, Chargers.
And still drop the ball.
The team last year that got into the fiasco that was the Stickum debacle. It
was the Stickum Gate.
It was the Stickum Gate. People were accusing them of using something called Stickum on their gloves to catch the ball. They must have bought the wrong product because it did not work.
They bought generic brand. That's why.
They bought Acme brand. They bought the Acme brand Stickum.
No. They bought the Pound Shop brand, which doesn't work for 4 hours.
Yeah, generic.
The team is totally pathetic if you attempt to cheat and you still are fucking horrible.
Overall, they are the second worst offense in the league right now. They are 31st overall offense, 9th in defense. So let me see how they are for players right now. If they've got any injuries or suspensions. Wide receiver Eddie Royal. Lung injury, questionable for the start of the season. Malcolm Floyd, wide receiver, questionable for the start of the season. Defense. Oh, God, this name. Byron Jerideau on IR, out for the season.
How's that written?
Jerideau.
Yeah, Jerideau. I think that's actually his name.
Jerideau. Then we've got Monty Teo.
That's an amazing name. He sounds like a character from Willy Wonka.
Then we've got Manti.
Byron Jared.
Then we've got Manti Teo.
Manti Teo.
Manti Teo.
Manti Teo.
Okay.
Even I know how to pronounce that particular
the
name.
guy that got the guy who had the invisible,
actually that was pronounced Jerideau.
The guy who had the invisible girlfriend.
Yeah, he's questionable for the start of the season. He's probably actually going out on a date with his invisible girlfriend. Steve Williams.
That's why I remember who Manti Teo is, because of that thing.
Steve Williams, pectoral, IR, out for the season. Then we've got Brandon Taylor, knee injury, questionable for the start of the season. A lot of knee injuries, a lot of leg-related injuries, ankle, knees, legs, a lot of that.
They really need.
WWE here.
They really need to make sure that they need to do something about all the knee injuries, because at this rate, I don't think we can finish the. we're gonna get to the Super Bowl with the third stringers at
The
this rate.
San Diego
You're gonna have to
To
call in a
find
whole
a good sort of
different
middle balance between head injuries and knee injuries.
The San Diego Stickum Chargers went 7-9 last year. I think they're going to do worse than that this year.
But they're the Superchargers.
I think the Chargers are going to go 6-10.
But they're super.
What about you, Vardy?
Yeah, they're not like horrible, grade horrible. They're not Browns level horrible, but I'm not expecting anything. So yeah, 5.
I'm right along with Vardy, 5-11.
And Ali?
What team?
The San Diego Stickum Chargers.
16-0.
The San Diego not so Superchargers.
The not so Superchargers.
The San Diego Superchargers.
But they're the Superchargers.
Yep, the San Diego
Okay,
Stickum Superchargers.
But
But
what's your real pick, Ali?
16-0.
Are you serious?
Yes.
If they go,
a more serious guess
if
than
they
me.
go 16-0, I will pay for a woman to fly out to your state and give you a blowjob.
You can find that.
If they go 16-0, I'll eat my pants.
I'm just imagining it actually happens and Riddler's just like, fuck it. Well, Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yeah, I'll eat my pants if they go.
There's
6-0.
one problem with a woman doing it. Ollie's gay. So.
Oh, okay, I'll find him I'll get him David Otunga. I will have David Otunga fly to Aki and give him a blowjob and flex for him in his Johnny Laurinaitis bib. Let's do that if they go 16-0.
Where are you gonna hire David Otunga?
Dude, the guy's pretty much desperate for a job at this point.
Yeah.
No, but wouldn't David Otunga be tired of doing jobs after a point?
You said he'd be
Well, I'm assuming at this point he's doing law for free and throwing in a blowjob.
Does that mean if you give hand jobs and blowjobs, you're a jobber?
Yes.
Technically, yes.
Okay then. The Bellas are really good jobbers.
Yes.
Really good
Heard
job.
they job to see that all the time.
Some of the best.
That's everyone's given their pick on the Chargers, then, yes?
Well, I
did.
Yeah, I gave mine.
I think that. Well, I just gotta say, I think the Chargers are gonna overcharge.
Oh.
I say that is going to go to they're going to do 6-10.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you there, Mick. They're gonna undercharge.
Oh.
Here's an
Yeah,
idea.
either
Since we have now gone through all the teams and all the different divisions and everything, anyone want to make a Super Bowl prediction as to who's going to be in it and who's going to win?
My Super Bowl picks, let me see who I've got here.
I kind of want.
My Super...
Oh.
Go ahead.
I kind of wanted Ravens and Redskins, but that's kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a stretch.
I don't see the Ravens making it to 2 in a row, honestly.
I say Vikings and Patriots.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Aren't the Vikings... Oh, wait, no, never mind.
I think the Vikings could make it to the Super Bowl this
Make
year.
that go all the way.
I've also got the Redskins as a possible.
That means they'll be in their. I think they're
My
fourth
NFC,
or
my
fifth Super
NFC
Bowl
ones,
that they don't win.
my NFC choices for the Super Bowl.
Who,
Is,
well, I because like I should let me say again. Your prediction who's in it and who wins the game.
well, my predictions for who might be in it. I've got two from each conference. It's either going to be the Vikings or the Redskins when it comes to the NFC. For the AFC, it's either going to be the Patriots or the. I'm thinking what my other AFC one would be. It's either going to be the Patriots or
Could be Broncos.
it could be yeah. I'll go with either the Patriots or the Broncos. And for the NFC, Vikings or Redskins. Who would win? If let's say I think my matchups would be either Vikings. Let's go. The matchups would be Vikings, Patriots, and maybe Redskins, Broncos. If it was Vikings, Patriots, then I'll do it the other way around, like Vikings, Broncos, and Redskins, Patriots. If it's Vikings, Patriots, I would go with the Patriots. If it was Redskins, Patriots, I'd go with the Redskins getting an upset. If it's Broncos, Vikings, I'd go with Vikings. If it's Broncos, Redskins, I'd go with Redskins. So if it was Broncos representing the AFC, I'd say the NFC wins with mine. And if it was Patriots representing the AFC, I'd say Vikings would lose and Redskins would get the underdog win for those. Those are my choices. It'd either be Vikings or Redskins for the AFC, or Patriots Broncos for the AFC in my choice.
I have no idea.
What about you, Rocktan?
I'm making my prediction is going to be Falcons versus Broncos, with the Falcons winning their first ever Super Bowl.
Meh.
That's a possibility.
It is. I don't think it's going to happen. What about you, Vide?
Well, of course, my picks for
level. That's a weird.
Yeah. No. For the AFC, I'm probably gonna go for Patriots and Broncos, and for the NFC, I'm gonna go for Saints and Ravens. I'm thinking.
I think it's too early at this point because for the last few years,
Like I said, this is conjecture.
we've had really weird
conjecture.
years of football.
It's conjecture. What about you?
Well,
Ali? What about you?
I said.
You did?
Did ya?
I did.
Well, everyone forgets Ali, so there you go.
We didn't hear. What did you say? No, I didn't. I legit didn't hear. What did you say?
I thought I said
Yeah, neither
Ravens
did I.
and Redskins.
Raven and Redskins. Okay.
Okay.
I legit didn't hear you. Sorry. So I'm just gonna go over the rules for the pick'em. What we're gonna do? We're gonna use the NFL fantasy
you didn't
pick'em.
hear my predictions for the Super Bowl.
Oh, what's your predictions for the?
Oh shit!
See, everybody Everyone chose the really obvious one. I'm gonna go with the one that's least likely to happen, just so that I can say I told you so when it actually does. Carolina Panthers versus the Cleveland Browns in the Super Bowl.
Mick, if that happens, I'll do what I will do for Ali if the Chargers get 16-0, except I'll get you your favorite WWE diva.
Give me two.
Give you two.
You know
I'll
what'd be really
the
funny?
best.
You know what'd be
That's the
really
least
funny?
likely outcome.
Like, you hire the a diva to come over,
Yeah,
and all you do.
considering how outrageous his picks is, he deserves to basically have a double two women servicing him at the same time.
I was
Yeah,
going to say.
if the Browns and the Panthers go to the Super Bowl, I want this in writing. Riddler owes me 2 women.
Well, technically, it's gonna be in audio, so it's gonna be memorialized.
It's going to be Mario.
I was going to say,
Go ahead,
that'd be funny if, like, Riddler hires 2 divas to come to Mick's house, and then Mick, all he does is complain about the state of the divas division.
Yeah.
That's probably what is going to end up happening.
I kind of want it to happen, and then when Mick opens the door, it's Santina Morella and Brock Lesbian.
Well,
Brock Lesbian, yes.
Did I just tell Riddler, well played?
Right. So I want to go over the rules.
That's the thing. I think I misspoke. I said the Ravens, but I think I meant the Falcons.
Okay, you went with the bird. Fair enough. We're going to go over the rules now for the pick'em. Each week we will use the NFL pick'em from the fantasy site. That way it'll keep our scores, and you'll have to sign up for that, obviously. But you all have accounts because we're doing fantasy football for those that are partaking. Now, what's going to happen is, as we'll keep our scores, we'll update as time goes on throughout the picks each week. And we're going to go with a punishment for the person that has the least amount of points.
Unless it's me, because I'm completely guessing with these.
We're going to go with the same punishment we had last year. You're all going to have to give me your most hated team and be honest, please. So I'll start with me. My most hated team is the New York Jets. So
Really?
My most hated team is the New York Jets.
Jets.
Right. Verde, who is your most hated team?
I'm gonna say the Jaguars.
Jaguars. Rocktan, who's your most hated team? Steelers.
I hate the Steelers because I think they're a bunch of criminals.
They are. Ali, who's your most
That's
hated?
why they're called Steelers. Ah!
Ali, who's your most hated?
Ah!
I have two different choices. One, I hate them because they're bad. The other, I hate them because I just don't like them. So,
Well,
because they're bad would be Raiders, and because I don't like them would be Patriots.
which one would you rather support?
I'd rather support Raiders.
Right, so I'll put Raiders down.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the... Okay, so Patriots.
No, I'll put Raiders down.
Patriots.
Nathan, who's your most hated team?
That terrible Manchester United. Grr.
The actual team, a team in American football, please, that exists.
I'm still going with the Colts.
Still going with the Colts. Mick.
It's an irrational here.
The Arizona Cardinals.
And the Cardinals. If you have the lowest points at the end of the season, you will have to support your most hated team all of next season.
Either that or what? Wait, is Terrell Owens still playing football?
No.
I think so.
Okay.
No, he's not.
I was just going to say whatever team he
Really?
was on. Okay.
No.
What team Michael
So-
pick on?
Yeah.
Whoever has the lowest amount of points.
I don't think he managed to get on a team.
Yeah, whoever has the lowest amount of points at the end of the season has to support their most hated team the next season.
Should we talk about our fantasy teams at all?
I kind of ignored my fantasy team.
Yeah, I forgot about my fantasy team too.
I forgot about my fantasy team. We could.
Yeah, I didn't even pick
We
one.
could-
We could if we wanted to. We could if we wanted to.
Can you link
Actually,
us to
make
the pick'em, whatever they're called?
Yes, I will. I was actually going to say we could, if we wanted to, make picks for the week one pick'em because the week one picks are available. But we can save that till next week if you want.
It's already been kind of long. I think we should wait.
We'll wait till next week. That's fair enough. We'll wait till next week to give the week one. Well, not next week because the preseason games happen like on 28th.
Well, I think we can still manage to give a pick to give the first week's pick'ems for if it's next week.
When let me see. Oh, okay. Friday is when the first season game happens. The 30th, I imagine. Then I assume.
Friday, what date? What's the
Doesn't
date?
say what the date. It just says Friday. Let me see here. Where's the schedule? Let me have a look at these schedules. Hold on.
Yay, I can actually use the pick'em.
Yay, because you're
Okay. Week one, the very first game is a Thursday game, and it's going to be a good one. It's Denver at Baltimore. It's September 5th.
All right.
And then the rest of the season starts on September 8th.
Right. Okay.
All right. So September 5th.
officially the first official game is on the 5th, and the first set of Sunday games is on the 8th.
Okay, so as long as we give our picks before the 5th. Fair enough. We will do that then. Yes, so the person with the least amount of points at the end of the season, if it's me, I have to support the Jets next season. If it's Varday, he has to support the Jags next season. If it's Ruckton, he has to support the Steelers. If it's Ali, it's the Raiders. If it's Nathan, it's the Colts. And if it's Mick, it's the Cardinals.
Yeah, but the thing is, with Viders, you need to go, like, what team do you support? And go, the Jags. Yeah.
Yeah, but
What if some of us aren't here? What if some of us aren't here to pick our stuff during the show?
If some of us
Apparently, you can
pick
pick them for every week.
Yeah, you can pick them for every week.
So even if he wasn't like here on the show, he could just do it on the internet.
Yeah, you can do it on the internet.
Right now, I'm picking for several weeks.
I won't, because I'll do it on the show. Just say, oh, I'll pick blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'll pick da-da-da. Yeah. And you can change your pick anytime up until the kickoff anyway.
Oh, and you can also, if you mouse over the helmets, you can see how many people went with the same choice as you.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Oh, wow. Okay, 73%. Anyway, we'll end it here. My name was Riddler saying, are you ready to stroke my American footballs?
No.
Too bad.
This is Nathan saying, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Staten Island Stapleton.
Staten Island Stapleton.
This is Rocktan saying Brock lesbian.
We gotta make Brock lesbian.
I will.
And like have a shirt.
Lesbian.
And this is Varday saying, you bring those balls next to me, I will crush them.
Yay!
But they're already next to you, Vardy. They're on your head.
Yes, don't you feel them gone already?
Nope.
Well, that's how good I am.
It's like it's like that phantom limb syndrome, except it's for
Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.